67%. Chapter 401 8th Stage Profound Crystal Tower. Well, accept this medicine pill. Taking refining on the road should help you break through the 6 levels of golden core. Ouyang Ji flicked his fingers, and a medicine pill was sent into Lin Haoyang's hands. Medicine pill appears yellow, with some strange lines on the outside, and medicine pill has lines, which is a unique mark of the 5th order medicine pill. Moreover, this is still a tier 5 medicine pill that grows cultivation base. If you get Wan Hongshan, I don't know how many people are rushing to get it. Lin Haoyang was moved, and wanted to say something touching. Ouyang Ji immediately raised his hand to stop, and said, "We just don't want the Ji-Ling line to lose too ugly. After all, we only sent you alone. If you die, our Ji-Ling line's face will be gone. How important is the face of the Ji-Ling pulse? How can it be compared with a medicine pill? Therefore, this medicine pill will be given to you." Quote. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang was taken aback, and it turned out that the brothers did not care about him, but the face of the very spiritual line. Okay, hurry up to Jagged City. Master and her elders should have something to explain. Zhao Duanlong directly issued the eviction order. Helpless, Lin Haoyang twitched the corner of his mouth and walked out of the cave. As soon as he walked out of Immortal Cave, Zhao Duanlong's voice came. By the way, remember to bring some spirit stones. This way, spirit stones can spend a lot. Lin Haoyang's complexion turned dark. It turned out that he had to pay for his own travel expenses. After touching his own storage bag, he realized that he didn't really have any spirit stones anymore. Helplessly, Lin Haoyang took 50,000 spirit stones from the account of Xuanzhenzong. Today's Xuanzhen sect, taking out 50,000 spirit stones is still simple, and with Lin Haoyang's contribution points, even if taking out 500,000 spirit stones, there is no problem at all. After taking the spirit stones, Lin Haoyang left Baiyu Mountain and hurried towards Luofengling under the gaze of everyone. It would take more than a month to get to Luofengling, just to try the medicine pill that Ouyang Ji gave him. Because there was no spiritual vein, Lin Haoyang could only hold a top-grade spirit stones in each hand, and then swallowed medicine pill. The 5th tier medicine pill is the 5th tier medicine pill. Just after he swallowed it, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base began to grow crazily. At the current rate, when he rushed to Luofengling, his cultivation base would surely reach the 5-tier peak of golden core. 1 month later, Lin Haoyang came to Luofengling. Not surprisingly, his cultivation base also reached the top 5 levels of golden core, and he could immediately close the door training breakthrough golden core 6 levels. However, Lin Haoyang did not break through in Luofengling. Although Qian Wuan had never been an enemy of him, Lin Haoyang had to be on guard against him. After a brief exchange, Lin Haoyang took the teleportation formation and left Luofengling. After more than 10 breaths, Lin Haoyang came to Jagged City. After more than 6 years, Lin Haoyang came here again, really feeling a lot, and at the same time, his strength has also become much stronger. Although after a great battle, the popularity of Iron Blood City did not increase but decreased. There were few people in the area close to the city wall, but now it seems that there are more people everywhere. Now that the Ji-Ling line is in the Iron Blood City, only he and Ji-Ling Z are left. It is a bit difficult for him to see Ji-Ling Z. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up and he took out a token from his storage bag, which was used by Ji-Ling C for self-defense when Ji-Ling C accepted him as a disciple. This thing belongs to the extremely spiritual child. With the powerful divine sense of the Hidao cultivator, when Lin Haoyang takes it out, there will definitely be a gap. When Lin Haoyang took out the token, far away in the Sage Hall of the Sword League, Ji-Ling C opened his eyes and smiled at the corner of his mouth, saying, "Smelly boy, still smart." At the same time, Long Tuzi on the other side opened his eyes and said, "Why, are you someone with a very spiritual line coming? Much faster than you. This is the speed of my extremely spiritual pulse." After all, spirit power surged all over the body of Ji-Ling C, and then gathered a human form beside Ji-Ling C. Ji-Ling C blew a breath, and then the human form transformed by spirit power became the appearance of Ji-Ling C. Even so, its cultivation base has only fallen from Hidao to nascent soul. This is the horror of Hidao. It is just a clone of spirit power that has the power of nascent soul. After adapting to this clone, Ji-Ling C left the Sage Hall and went straight to Lin Haoyang. The cultivator cannot easily leave the Hall of the Sages, even if it is an extremely spiritual child, it must be obeyed. After taking out the jade pendant, Lin Haoyang guarded the teleportation array one by one. He knew that Ji Lingxi would definitely perceive his arrival. Since he couldn't see Ji Lingxi, he could only let Ji Lingxi come to him. After about a stick of incense, a woman's voice came from behind Lin Haoyang. Hey, if I don't come, do you have to stand here forever? Listening to this, Lin Haoyang hurriedly turned around, and just wanted to respectfully meet, but was stunned. Although the woman behind her looks like a very clever child, this cultivation base is too far away, right? What a daze. Put away the token. Ji Lingxi was not polite at all, came over and patted Lin Haoyang on the shoulder, and looked at Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang felt like he was stripped, very ashamed. For this alone, Lin Haoyang dared to be determined. This person must be her master. Only cultivation base. Lin Haoyang didn't know what Ji Lingxi was doing. Putting away the token, Lin Haoyang bowed and said respectfully, "The disciple has seen master." Ji Lingxi waved his hand and said, "Yes, the strength has improved a lot in the past few years, far exceeding my expectations. Xiaolong and the others have not been lazy. This way I can rest assured, it should be no problem to save my life." Quote. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang couldn't help but twitched. Why did the master say such a thing? What Jedi did he go to? Okay, come with me, Ji Lingxi said, and took Lin Haoyang to a small building. The small building was not big, and the decoration did not show the luxury, it was very ordinary. This is my simple residence in Iron Blood City. If you have something in the future, just come here to find me. Don't stand stupidly anymore and ask me to find you. Didn't your brothers tell you? Lin Haoyang shook his head. Zhao Duanlong and the three people didn't say anything, they only said that they would bring some spirit stones without reimbursement. Seeing Lin Haoyang shook his head, Ji Lingxi shook his head instead, appearing satisfied, and said, "The three little guys' mouths are pretty strict, you remember, this is mine, and you can't tell anyone, lest anyone disturb me." Ji Lingxi speaks a bit fiercely, Lin Haoyang can only stand by the side obediently. Afterwards, Ji Lingxi introduced Lin Haoyang about this mission. Although it was simple to say, Lin Haoyang became more shocked as he listened. The location of this operation was 10,000 meters below the water, which is why Zhao Duanlong said that the secret realm was a bit fragile. This secret realm is called the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda, which was once an important treasure chest. The 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda was discovered by the Sea Clan, but if you want to open it, you need the blood of the human race. There is no way. The 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda has been opened 3 times, once every 50 years. Someone once obtained a half-step 7th order magical item in it, and the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda became famous. However, what human race values is not the 7th order magical item, but the things stored on the 8th floor of the ground. But on the 8th floor of the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, no one has ever climbed it. 67%. Chapter 402 Sacred Land. After Ji Lingxi's introduction, Lin Haoyang finally understood why everyone attaches so much importance to the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. As long as you can reach the 8th stage, the things in there, no matter what it is, will far exceed everyone's imagination. If there is a fairy Dao magical item in it, it may be enough to change the current trend. Both humans and demonic beasts have not logged into the 8th floor 3 times. It can be seen that the 8th floor is not so good. There are still 2 months left until the 8th stage Mystic Crystal Pagoda opens. In these 2 days, you will first break through the golden core 6th floor of the cultivation base. At that time, I will adjust and train again, and strive for your strength to make some breakthroughs. Ji Lingxi said. Lin Haoyang nodded and said yes. In the next few days, Lin Haoyang was in the closed-door training of Ji Lingxi's small building, preparing to break through the 6th floor of golden core. As for Ji Lingxi, except for Lin Haoyang no longer saw the figure. He only knew that Ji Lingxi had to buy a lot of things to come back every day. Feelings, you are not for me, but for your own enjoyment, you made such a clone. 5 days later, there was a spirit power fluctuation from Lin Haoyang's closed-door training. Finally, Lin Haoyang was successfully promoted to the 6th floor of Golden Core. After Lin Haoyang's cultivation base became stable, Ji Lingxi stopped running outside and began to teach Lin Haoyang to practice. On the one hand, it is the good fortune cultivation technique, on the other hand it is the universe cultivation technique. What Lin Haoyang didn't understand in the past, with the help of Ji Lingxi, Lin Haoyang can quickly master it. Even if it is some difficult questions about the profound art of the Buddha, Ji Lingxi can answer most of them. He Dao cultivation base and insights are not decorations. The terrifying population base of the human race has created the 7 Hidao. In some ways, these 7 people, whether it is luck or talent, have reached the top, otherwise, they will not be able to cultivate the Hidao realm. Ji Lingxi's instructions to Lin Haoyang lasted for a month. This month, Ji Lingxi pointed Lin Haoyang inside and out. Even Lin Haoyang's self-created cultivation technique, Violent Blood and Tianfeng, have made some modifications, making the 9 reactive power form the high-ranked cultivation technique starting from the 5th order cultivation technique. The guidance of Ji Lingxi made these 2 styles more perfect and their power greatly increased. After giving some guidance, Ji Lingxi felt that Lin Haoyang was pretty good in all aspects, but he was quite skeptical about Lin Haoyang's dual cultivation. He felt that the loss of Yuanyang early would affect the speed of cultivation. Lin Haoyang was also embarrassed about this, but he didn't regret it at all, but realm was a little slower. His 3 spiritual roots aptitudes, he still wants to compete with the heavenly spiritual roots cultivator in cultivation speed. After a month of training, Ji Lingxi finally assured Lin Haoyang on the road, and at the same time gave Lin Haoyang a piece of residual jade. With this piece of jade, he was qualified to enter the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. In addition to the residual jade, Ji Lingxi threw a storage bag to Lin Haoyang, opened it, and saw that it contained 10 top-grade spirit stones and some elixir. 10 top-grade spirit stones were not enough for Lin Haoyang to be surprised. The important thing was these spirit medicines, one by one, they were all great tonic things, and they were all used to enhance the power of the physical body. Lin Haoyang's physical body hadn't been strengthened for a long time, except for the ascension, which was largely derived from its origin. For one thing, Lin Haoyang has no time and has been condensing the good fortune orb for 5 years. Secondly, he now has no resources in his hand to open more acupoints. With these resources donated by Ji Lingxi, Lin Haoyang's acupoints should be able to open to about 50. In the first month and 5 days after arriving in the Iron Blood City, Lin Haoyang went on the road and took the teleportation array of the Iron Blood City to the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. On the way, he would take the 6th order transmission array, and once teleported, he would need 3,000 spirit stones. Fortunately, he would be embarrassed if he had the support of Ji Lingxi. As the transmission array continued to flicker, Lin Haoyang was getting closer and closer to the East China Sea. Before reaching the East China Sea, Lin Haoyang would inevitably pass through the human race sacred land, the ancient bronze sword. It was this ancient bronze sword that was tens of thousands of miles long that brought the human race to this place from the destruction of the immortal world. When the teleportation array flickered again, what came into view was an ancient bronze sword that was as high as the sky. The concealed space of the ancient bronze sword can carry millions of people to survive for a long time. It is a practical magical item. However, this immortal magical item is not something that immortals and lower levels can spur. At the beginning, there was a human power at the pinnacle of Hidao who wanted to draw out the bronze ancient sword, but the ancient sword did not move at all. The human race at the pinnacle of Hidao did everything possible, and there was nothing to do with the bronze ancient sword, so the human race cut off this idea. Relying on the ancient bronze sword, calling this place sacred land, no one opposed it. Lin Haoyang glanced at it, centered on the ancient bronze sword, and couldn't see the end of the human architecture at all. According to statistics, the human race living in sacred land, cultivator plus mortal, reached a terrifying 300 million. Although the number of people is extremely terrifying, it really counts as sacred land. Only the bronze ancient sword held by the Sword League is within 300 miles. It is said that the spiritual chi of the ancient bronze sword has reached the terrifying 7th rank. With good luck, within 10 miles of the ancient bronze sword, a trace of fairy energy can be captured. But this kind of heaven-defying opportunity, without great feats, cannot be bestowed. Looking at the bronze ancient sword that was as high as the sky, Lin Haoyang was stunned. He didn't know what kind of existence it was back then to use such a magical item. Just as Lin Haoyang was stunned, a white-robed man walked up beside him. Boy, I heard that you were lucky enough to worship the Ji Lingxi Senior. But it's still a waste, it's only the 6th floor of Golden Core. 80% of the profound crystal pagoda shields all perceptions, and all lives and deaths, even if I kill you. Ji Lingxi Senior would not know it was my hand. Quote. Lin Haoyang narrowed his eyes, and he could clearly feel the other's murderous aura. Looking back, it turned out that it was his old adversary, Nangong Luyun of Baixianmen. Yo, I only escaped with your aunt back then, but now I am arrogant again. Don't be afraid, I will kill you again. See if your aunt can come and save you again. Lin Haoyang was not afraid, rolling in a killing intent. Nangong Luyun's murderous intent was forced back. Feeling Lin Haoyang's full-bodied killing intent, Nangong Luyun's complexion changed. It seems that he still underestimated Lin Haoyang. It is definitely not easy to be able to worship under the cultivator of Hidao. Nangong Luyun showed disdain at the corner of his mouth, speculating that Lin Haoyang was pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger again. As he was about to mobilize his mixed spirit power to suppress Lin Haoyang's momentum, an angry rebuke came from a distance. Those who dare to do something here, kill without mercy. The vocalist is a nascent soul late-stage cultivator. Even if they are the cultivator in Golden Core, they can only admit it at this moment. Lin Haoyang took advantage. Even after receiving the killing intent, he laughed and walked into the teleportation formation, leaving only the pale Nangong Luyun. What happened back then has always been the shame of Nangong Luyun. Over the years, he has always wanted to avenge Lin Haoyang, but he didn't expect Lin Haoyang to rise higher and higher. Not only did it defeat the Baixian Gate's Rocker Dry Fire Pavilion, which made him unable to start, but later even worshipped under the gate of Jilingxi, making him afraid to do it. Nangong Luyun couldn't wait for a chance, so he worked hard to cultivate. In a short time, cultivation base reached the peak of the 9th level of Golden Core. Just as he was preparing to break through the nascent soul, the news came that the 8th stage Mystic Crystal Pagoda had opened, and Nangong Luyun was very happy. He knew that this was probably his only chance to slay Lin Haoyang and avenge his hatred, so he suppressed the cultivation base and gave up this breakthrough opportunity. So, it was to kill Lin Haoyang in the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. 67%. Chapter 403 Trouble. Lin Haoyang stepped into the teleportation formation again, and after more than 10 breaths, Lin Haoyang appeared in another place. The towering bronze ancient sword disappeared, and there was some fishy smell in the air. Lin Haoyang also smelled these fishy smells in Sun and Moon Lake, but the smell here is several times stronger and more complicated than before. In addition to Nangong Luyun, there were 2 men and 1 woman who were riding in the teleportation formation with him. These people are not very old, and the people who rushed here at the moment are probably all coming for the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower. Lin Haoyang's consciousness swept through, and the 3 of them were all powerful Golden Core late-stage players. As for the cultivation base, Lin Haoyang couldn't see it. It should be that they all have treasures to prevent divine sense detection. After all, the power that can participate in the 8th treasure Profound Crystal Pagoda is at least the top 5th rank, and a magical item that prevents divine sense from detection is still available. This is the smell of the sea, so comfortable. The girl exclaimed as soon as she stepped out of the teleportation formation. Sister Hu, let's rush to the meeting place first, said a middle-aged man beside the girl. The girl curled her lips, but still followed the middle-aged man obediently. The other person, feeling Lin Haoyang's gaze, glanced at Lin Haoyang and saw that Lin Haoyang only had the Golden Core 6-layer cultivation base. With a disdainful expression on the corners of his mouth, he whispered, and then turned and left. Nangong Luyun glanced at Lin Haoyang, made a gesture of wiping his neck, and left. Lin Haoyang is very innocent. Is his cultivation base really wrong? He doesn't want to either. How about changing the qualifications of the 3 of you spiritual roots to try? Lin Haoyang confided, and then left the teleportation formation. This time he went to the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda to report in advance at the Sword League, and then a high-ranked cultivator would lead the team and set off together. Although there is still some time before the opening of the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, it is correct to report first. After going around for more than half an hour, Lin Haoyang finally found the place where the Sword League was, but when Lin Haoyang said that he was here to participate in the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda dispute, he was stopped by the opponent. Said that he is a small cultivator on the 6th floor of Golden Core, who dared to pretend to be a person participating in the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. If he were not afraid of the heavy sword behind Lin Haoyang, I am afraid that they would have started to drive Lin Haoyang away. Because of this incident, it also aroused some people's onlookers. Unexpectedly, this year, there are people who dared to pretend to be a member of the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, a Golden Core 6th floor. I really don't know that it jumped out of that shit. A gorgeous woman said sarcastically. Those of them who came to participate in the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda are all good seedlings carefully cultivated by a large number of them, and the treatment of resources is excellent, so it is normal to look down on Lin Haoyang. Just when Lin Haoyang was about to take out the residual jade that Jilingxi gave him to prove his identity, an exclamation came from the crowd. Brother Lin, it really is you. Lin Haoyang looked back and saw Sun Ning squeezed out of the crowd, followed by a man carrying a big sword behind him. The man Lin Haoyang had never seen him. He must be a genius of Shizang in the line of Longtu, but Lin Haoyang was still very happy to see Sun Ning. I didn't expect that Sun Ning would come to participate in the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower competition. Although her cultivation base has reached the peak of the golden core, the same is true for divine sense. But in Lin Haoyang's view, Sun Ning was a bit too kind, and he fought like this from time to time. Sister Sun, goodbye that day. I didn't expect that you would still stay in the golden core realm. Lin Haoyang joked. Oh, I can actually be promoted to nascent soul a long time ago, but the master wouldn't let it go, saying that I still need to hone and temper. Sun Ning said bitterly. Lin Haoyang looked at the man behind Sun Ning and asked, who is this? My big brother's disciple Yang Bin. Sun Ning's expression changed, and he approached Lin Haoyang in a low voice. I said that I came to participate in the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, but in fact, I came to monitor me. Lin Haoyang smiled bitterly. He watched Yang Bin's weather and Bufin. He was definitely not simple. He was definitely not only to monitor Sun Ning, but to prepare with both hands. Lin Haoyang nodded to Yang Bin. Although the opponent is strong, he is not afraid. Hey, don't you have eyes? He is the 4 disciples of the Jilingxi Senior. How dare you question his identity? You probably don't want to live anymore. At this time, Sun Ning angrily rebuked the 2 nascent soul cultivators. That's right. In order to register everyone this time, Zhanmeng sent 2 nascent soul cultivators as guards. Sun Ning had already registered before, and all the guards knew the identities of the 2. At this moment, Sun Ning said that Lin Haoyang was a disciple of Jilingxi. They were shocked and didn't believe it at first, but after thinking about it carefully, Jilingxi did accept another disciple a few years ago. Coupled with the huge épée behind Lin Haoyang, the guards were already 80% sure that Lin Haoyang really they are the 4 disciples of Jilingxi. They scolded their mothers. The Jilingxi's line is a combined force, so why did they send a golden core 6-tier cultivator? Isn't this a joke? There is a limit to the number H of human race entering the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, only 40 people, and the number of people reached at this moment has exceeded 100. There is also a selection. Those who are weak will have to give up places, but as the 7 great combinations, they must have a place in it. In other words, Lin Haoyang is 100% able to enter the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. If Lin Haoyang is strong enough, it will naturally be nothing, but now Lin Haoyang is only at the 6th level of Golden Core, which may cause a lot of dissatisfaction. First of all, the 2 nascent soul guards were dissatisfied. Although they were dissatisfied, they still apologized to Lin Haoyang. After checking Lin Haoyang's residual jade, they immediately registered Lin Haoyang's identity. There was a 108-degree change in attitude, and everything was because he was a disciple of Jilingxi. Lin Haoyang was helpless. After registering, he and Sun Ning left the Sword League. 20 days later, everyone gathered here again and headed to the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. When Lin Haoyang left, many people in the audience were amazed. Many people gritted their teeth. Their cultivation base was higher than Lin Haoyang, but they had to go through a brutal competition before they could get a place to the 8th stage Mysterious Tower. However, Lin Haoyang, a golden core 6-layer waste, could easily have a quota by relying on the teacher's door, which made them very unfair. Don't let this matter, a man said. What else can I do then? The other party is Jilingxi's apprentice. Do you dare to move people? Jilingxi Senior may be able to kill you by just snapping his fingers. A man shook his head helplessly, took out his own remnant jade, and proceeded. Register. But some people still feel uneasy, including the female sister who ridiculed Lin Haoyang before. The once ridiculed object has become an existence she can't afford to climb, and the gap at this time makes it difficult for her to accept. In particular, Lin Haoyang's disdainful attitude towards her made her even more annoyed. You are a golden core 6-layer trash. Even if you worship it under Hidao Daneng sect, it is still trash. What qualifications do you not look at her? The female cultivator's heart burned with anger, and the jealousy gradually became the battle in her heart, and her sanity gradually disappeared. At this time, Nangong Luyun walked behind her and said, although he is not allowed to do anything here, but if he was killed on the stage of life and death, even if the spiritual Sun Senior, he can't do anything to you. The female eyes suddenly brightened, as if seeing the dawn in the dark night, she murmured in her mouth. Yes, life and death stage. As long as he is killed on the stage of life and death, no one can look at me 5 times. 68%. Chapter 404 Provocation. Lin Haoyang followed Sun Ning around the neighborhood, and finally found a restaurant to have a chat. The two of them had a fateful friendship. This time they went to the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda. One more friend, one less enemy. Maybe the two are in the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, and they will cooperate again. Regarding Lin Haoyang, Yang Bin had only heard that he was in the closed-door training during the Colorful Thousand Clouds tour that day, and he did not participate. Therefore, some news about Lin Haoyang came from other people in the Dragon 2 family. Especially in the past few days, when Sun Ning talked about Lin Haoyang in his ears became callous. In Su Ning's ears, Lin Haoyang was almost invincible with golden core, and Yang Bin didn't dare to look down upon Lin Haoyang when he saw it right now. As a disciple of Hidao Cultivator, he was born proud, but Lin Haoyang was suspected by the guards, and the villain ridiculed him. Lin Haoyang was still calm. This kind of person is either a fool, a coward, or a strong man who is born with disdain. The ridiculous person is nothing in Lin Haoyang's eyes. I heard that there are only 40 people who can enter the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. I just took a rough look. This number has already been greatly exceeded, I don't know why. Lin Haoyang asked. Hurt, if you want to enter the 8th stage Profound Crystal Tower, naturally if you are a genius among the geniuses, and the strong among the strong, there will be a selection before you enter. Only those who pass the selection are eligible to enter the 8th stage Profound Crystal Tower. Sun Ning disapproved. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang frowned and wanted to be selected. Master Ji Lingxi never told him about this. If he hadn't even been selected, wouldn't it be a shame? Seeing Lin Haoyang's sad look, Sun Ning looked puzzled and asked. Senior brother Lin, what's wrong? Isn't this still going to be selected? I'm worried that I won't even be able to pass the selection by then, so I'll give Master losing face. Lin Haoyang said with a sad expression. When Lin Haoyang said this, Sun Ning and Yang Bin looked at each other. Puff. Sun Ning couldn't help but laughed and said. Senior brother Lin does not know that we have a direct promotion quota for each of the 7 great combined forces, and brother Lin, your very spiritual line only comes to you. Naturally, there is no need for selection. Yang Bin still needs to participate in the selection process. It's better to fail. Yang Bin sat aside, with a wry smile on his face. His uncle, the uncle, was too self-willed. Master asked him to protect Sun Ning. He also had a headache for many days. However, he is not too worried about the so-called selection. With his strength, it is not a problem to get into the top 40. After all, he is also the top realm of Golden Core, and he has a more harmonious heritage. After listening to Sun Ning's words, Lin Haoyang let out a sigh of relief. It turns out that the Hidao cultivator has such a face. It seems that there is a reason why Ji Lingxi didn't tell him. Since he doesn't have to participate, it doesn't make sense to say it. Hearing this news, Lin Haoyang was in a good mood, ordered another pot of fine wine, and prepared to have a few drinks. At this moment, a group of people also walked into the restaurant and specially selected Lin Haoyang next to them. Seeing a few people, Lin Haoyang's expressions changed. Aren't these people the ones who ridiculed Lin Haoyang in the Jianmeng at that time? So reluctant. Do you want me? Yang Bin whispered. Lin Haoyang shook his head and whispered. Sometimes, it seems to be troublesome, but not necessarily troublesome. Maybe. It's a scavenger. When Sun Ning heard this, his eyes lit up. They did not do much in this matter, and they had experience. Yang Bin frowned. He didn't understand Lin Haoyang's meaning, but Lin Haoyang didn't need him to act. He was happy and free. Soon, the 3 men and 1 woman beside Lin Haoyang and others began to ridicule. Oh, the restaurant is a good restaurant, but there are some people here, but it breaks the mood of waiting for me. Who said no? I don't know what shit luck has gone, but the golden core is only on the 4th floor. Even if it is thrown into the 8th stage mysterious tower, I am afraid it will be a waste of places. Put my humans at a disadvantage. Who said no? I don't know what shit luck is gone, and I have worshipped a good master. Lin Haoyang didn't care about these ironic remarks. The Dao heart appraisal should not be easily moved by foreign objects. Lin Haoyang was unmoved, but Sun Ning was furious. What are you guys, such a venomous tongue? Just after he started, Yang Bin held it down behind him and said. Uncle Master, Master Lin has his plan, we still don't want to ruin his good deeds. Now, Yang Bin has affirmed that Lin Haoyang is not a weak person, but the city is extremely deep. With these few people, it is impossible to be Lin Haoyang's opponent. Because he found murderous aura in Lin Haoyang's eyes. The murderous aura was contained and not uttered. This was the master who could move his hands and never speak. Are you finished? What do you want to do? Want this place in my hand? Lin Haoyang put down his sibling glass and said lightly. The 4 female cultivators ridiculed here for a long time, but Lin Haoyang did not respond. They thought that Lin Haoyang was a super coward, and they were still worried about how to make Lin Haoyang agree to a death fight with them. Now that Lin Haoyang finally took over, they had a way to make Lin Haoyang die. You, the female cultivator, just wanted to speak, pulling another wave of hatred, but Lin Haoyang interrupted him directly, saying, do you want to go to the death ring? Yes, as long as you win, my place will be yours. However, if I want to go to the death battle, I have a condition, a battle, I will receive 100,000 spirit power. Quote. The 4 female cultivators are all dumbfounded. What do you mean? Feelings. This is not the trouble for the 4 of them to find Lin Haoyang, but the trouble for Lin Haoyang to find them. Immediately, the 4 female sisters showed ecstasy on their faces. As long as you are willing to go to the death platform, isn't it 100,000 spirit stones? Although there are only so many spirit stones on them. Seeing the female sister and the others hesitated, even happily unable to speak, but at this moment, Lin Haoyang spoke again. Since you don't agree, you must think that 100,000 spirit stones are too few, so let's do it, 150,000 spirit stones. As long as you get 150,000 spirit stones, I will accompany you to the death battle. Puff. Opposite, Sun Ning finally couldn't help smiling. It seemed that Lin Haoyang was determined to pit these people. Even Yang Bin can see that something is wrong, but he is not easy to intervene in this matter, so he can just watch it from the sidelines. If Lin Haoyang needs his help, he doesn't mind helping out. In today's situation, Long Tu Yimai and Ji Ling have a vague tendency to join forces. Therefore, Lin Haoyang is in danger. If he should help, he still has to help. At this moment, it was the turn of the 4 female sisters to look sullen. Lin Haoyang was obviously playing tricks on them. 150,000 spirit stones, I'm afraid they will have to be cleaned out to get them together. And Lin Haoyang just opened his mouth, and raised 50,000 spirit stones, which is clear to play with them. Lin Haoyang's mouth moved slightly, and she was about to speak again. The female cultivator's complexion changed and she said first. Okay, we promise, 150,000 spirit stones will be given to you. We will go to the death battle stage, regardless of life or death. If you lose, your quota is ours. Lin Haoyang smiled. Indeed, he just planned to add spirit stones to 200,000 spirit stones. Even if he added to 200,000 spirit stones, the other party would definitely try to get together spirit stones to fight him. However, since the other party agreed, he is not good to continue to increase the price. After all, he is a conscientious businessman. 68%. Chapter 405. Soon, the 4 sisters collected 150,000 spirit stones and prepared to fight against Lin Haoyang. Seeing that the other party was so anxious, Lin Haoyang couldn't wait any longer, so he inquired about the store, found a trial ground nearby, and signed the status of life and death. With a sign of life and death, the battle of death is completed. Regardless of life or death, the battle of death is the only way to solve personal grievances in the Sword League area. Otherwise, if you start in the Jianmeng management area, you will risk being killed by the criminal law hall, and even be included in the Jianmeng's kill list. However, the opponent was not the female cultivator, but a handsome young man who looked like a scholar. He didn't come here to embarrass Lin Haoyang, he followed, completely to pursue the female sister. In order to show off at this moment, he took the battle with Lin Haoyang. He has such confidence. For one thing, he already has 9 levels of golden core, and cultivation base is too much ahead of Lin Haoyang's 6 levels of golden core. Secondly, he himself came from a 6th rank sect, and the method is not weak. If he really defeats Lin Haoyang, then his position in the clan will also get a huge ascension, and more resources will be inclined to him. Northern Snow Fog Sect Qin Yun, please Lin fellow Taoist for more advice. Qin Yun said. Lin Haoyang waved his hand casually, and said indifferently. This is the battlefield. I don't dare to be interested in your name or your sect, but you have to come and give me 150,000 spirit stones, so I have to take it. After all, Tan Yun's complexion was pale, and of course his delicate spirit did not exist. He was polite to Lin Haoyang, but Lin Haoyang wanted his life, so he had no scruples. Isn't there a He Dao master? What's so arrogant? After that, Qin Yun slapped his storage bag, and a crystal transparent flying sword appeared in his hand and attacked Lin Haoyang. The flying sword is neither gold nor iron, and Lin Haoyang, as a tier 4 top-grade refiner, could not even recognize this material. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang became curious, holding Junyu not offensive but defensive, and wanted to take a closer look at this special refining material. As soon as the crystal sword came out, the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly, and the cold air rushed to the face. A piece of ice crystal began to appear in the air where the crystal sword passed. These ice crystals are extremely sharp. If the foundation building were here, they would definitely be hurt by them. Even if they were of the same rank, they would feel extremely troublesome. But for Lin Haoyang, the damage from these ice crystals couldn't even break his skin. Qin Yun also discovered this. These ice crystals are only special effects attached to his magical item. He never thought that relying on these ice crystals would defeat Lin Haoyang. After all, Lin Haoyang studied under Ji Ling Si. As we all know, the Ji Ling line is dual cultivation of Dharma body. If Lin Haoyang's physical body can't hold back even this attack, I am afraid this Ji Ling line is just famous. The sword technique in Qin Yun's hand changed, becoming more abrupt and swift. Lin Haoyang was holding Junyu in his hand, and he couldn't help it. Lin Haoyang knows that Qin Yun is starting to be serious, and Qin Yun is starting to be serious. Lin Haoyang no longer hides his clumsiness. He probably already knows the role of the flying sword in Qin Yun's hands. The first is to increase its sharpness, and the second has its own ice-cold properties. This material is not a superb material. However, if you hold a magical item made of this material in the Golden Core period, the different spiritual roots cultivator with ice-cold attributes, I am afraid that its strength will be ascension about 30%. At this moment, Qin Yun is holding this magical item flying sword, and his strength is about 30%. Coupled with the strength of the peak of his golden core, there is already an area that Lin Haoyang has hidden. The stronger the ice-cold power, the slower Lin Haoyang's movements, and the slower his defense against Tan Yun. So in front of Sun Ning and the female sister, Lin Haoyang always slowed down by one beat. Seeing this, the female cultivator was overjoyed. Lin Haoyang was really a waste. Tan Yun didn't even use the things at the bottom of the box, so he suppressed Lin Haoyang. If Qin Yun used those methods to defeat Lin Haoyang, it would not have been easy. Seeing Lin Haoyang fell into a disadvantage, Sun Ning also looked worried, but he was more confused. It was wrong. In her memory, Lin Haoyang shouldn't be so weak. Only Yang Bin frowned slightly. He was not optimistic about Tan Yun's suppression, because he couldn't see the slightest panic from Lin Haoyang's expression, as if everything was in Lin Haoyang's plan. Qin Yun suppressed Lin Haoyang for a period of time, but he couldn't be happy. In his perception, Lin Haoyang was like a sponge. When you press him, he retreats, and when you retreat, he bounces back. No breakthrough progress can be made. Lin Haoyang also understood the characteristics of the flying sword in Qin Yun's hands, and it was rare to get entangled with Qin Yun again. With full strength, he flew Qin Yun out with just one sword. Compared with Lin Haoyang's sword, Qin Yun's heart was already overwhelming. How could the power of that sword just now be so terrifying? He has always been defensive against Lin Haoyang's power and left 30% of his strength. Although he is idiotic, he is not stupid. Lin Haoyang has only 6 levels of golden core, which is his cultivation base. Everyone knows that the power of the spiritual body is the dual cultivation of the Dharma body, and the power of its physical body is bound to be extremely buffon. But he never expected that Lin Haoyang's sword power would reach such a terrifying level. At this moment, he took Lin Haoyang's right arm, still trembling. Qin Yun held a sword flower in his hand, forcibly suppressed the numbness in his right arm, and said in harmony. Snow. As Qin Yun yelled, there was a heavy snowfall on the entire death battle stage, and the surrounding temperature began to drop abruptly, and soon the temperature reached -50 degrees. On the sidelines, Sun Ning and the female cultivator were a little confused, marveling at the strength of each other. In general, the shock of the female cultivator was even greater. The power of Lin Haoyang's sword just now was too terrifying. Even if it was him, that sword took it. It's not much better. Even Qin Yun, who was beginning to force, used the snow region. As the representative of the 6th rank power Shui Wuzong, Qin Yun used many methods. Snow Realm is definitely the killer of Shui Wuzong. Everyone was stunned. The temperature on the death battle stage had already dropped to -Baidu, such a low temperature, even with Lin Haoyang's physical strength, it was not lightly affected. Lin Haoyang frowned. Although this status would not kill him, it would affect his movements. At this level, it is very likely that a momentary negligence could kill Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang's thoughts moved, and a pill fire enveloped him, thus isolating the surrounding low temperature. Looking at the pill fire surrounding Lin Haoyang, Qin Yun suddenly laughed. A mere pill fire, I just want to block my snowy area, wishful thinking. In that case, I will fill in another fire. Bone eruption flame. As Qin Yun burst into laughter, within Lin Haoyang's pill fire, another white flame rose unexpectedly. The white fire rose, and Lin Haoyang frowned. This white fire was different from the normal fire. It is not high temperature, but low temperature. When the flame is ignited, Lin Haoyang feels that even his own bones are tingling with cold. It is a pain of cold penetrates the bone. The painful color on Lin Haoyang's face dissipated, a crazy color appeared on Lin Haoyang's face, and he shouted. Something. But if that's it, I'm afraid today. You are going to stay here. 68%. Chapter 406. Lin Haoyang's profound realm of the Buddha suddenly erupted, and more than 40 acupoints all over his body lit up, and the flame lines under his skin also lit up at the same time. The formidable body erupted, and the surrounding cold air hit Lin Haoyang for less than a bit, but was completely blocked by Lin Haoyang's body. It was the bone-eroding flame that had a great impact on Lin Haoyang. The white flame had already penetrated into his body, and Lin Haoyang had little effect in urging the Buddha profound art at this moment. At this moment, Lin Haoyang's Dantian's black-red inner pill shook fiercely, a strange suction came out, and the bone-etching flames scattered all over Lin Haoyang's body trembled, and then rushed to the inner pill uncontrollably. For this change, Lin Haoyang did not expect that his weird inner alchemy, except that it absorbs spirit power faster and stores spirit power more vigorously, there is nothing strange about it. Now, the bone-eroding flames flooded into Dantian from all over Lin Haoyang's body. Lin Haoyang's body lightened, and Tan Yun's influence on him cleared. The arrival of the snowy area began to affect the death battle platform. The people on the scene looked at Lin Haoyang standing in the snowy area, and they were shocked. Especially the female cultivator. He knows Tan Yun's snow region and bone eruption flame very well. Even if it is herself, her strength will be greatly affected under the influence of these two major spells at the same time. Even if his strength drops by 30 to 40%, it is normal, but when I look at Lin Haoyang, how does this seem to be affected? Instead, the fighting spirit is even more vigorous. Sun Ning and the others were shocked, and Tan Yun was even more shocked. The skeletal flame was connected to his mind, but just now, he completely lost control of the skeletal flame. Such a situation can only show that Lin Haoyang has completely suppressed his bone-eroding flames. Although his snow territory and bone-eroding flame were not invincible cultivation techniques, Lin Haoyang was so easy to rectify it, and he was still a little unacceptable in his heart. Is the snow area weak? Of course not. In the narrow range of this kind of death battle platform, he is completely sure to make a normal golden core 9 layers to death. Judging from the current situation of Lin Haoyang, this kid is obviously pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. He should have understood how it is possible that there are weak people who can represent the He-Dao forces. Moreover, to underestimate a cultivator of dual cultivation of the Dharma body is the biggest mistake he has made. I have another trick, you take it, 150,000 spirit stones, naturally it is yours. Qin Yun is not unable to lose, only 150,000 spirit stones, not to mention that most of them were collected by others. Lin Haoyang came to be interested. He has never used all his strength. Firstly, he wanted to see how his own strength reached, and secondly, he wanted to use this to measure some of the strengths of other people. Shui Lingming. Qin Yun gave a soft drink. An extremely mysterious aura suddenly brewed, and the spirit power of the water in the surrounding air trembled suddenly, all rushing towards Qin Yun. This time, Lin Haoyang's complexion changed slightly. He felt threatened by this move, relying on his body alone. He couldn't hold it. From afar, Sun Ning showed a worried look on his face, and as a force of the Tao, he knew something about Shuiwu sect. The snow mist sect is located in the north, with heavy snow and sky. It has this natural advantage in the control of temperature and water spirit power. The 3 techniques of the snow mist sect, snow territory, bone eruption flame, and Shui Lingming, did not expect Qin Yun to have mastered Shui Lingming. No wonder he was assigned to participate in the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda. The temperature around Lin Haoyang dropped sharply again, and in an instant, it had dropped to minus 150 degrees. At this moment, even Junyu was covered with frost. Blood. Lin Haoyang slapped Junyu. A wave of blood chi suddenly wrapped around Junyu. The scarlet blood chi, even if it dispelled the frost, turned into a huge sword light. After Ji Lingxi's suggestion, Lin Haoyang's blood-violent power once again had ascension. Lin Haoyang did not turn off the sudden drop in temperature, minus 150 degrees, although it had an impact on him, but it was also quite a bit. Violent blood. Never talk about speed. How do you want to influence casual? I don't care. Under a forward collision, you can't avoid it. Qin Yun also discovered this. Lin Haoyang didn't care about the surrounding temperature at all. After bleeding was turned on, Lin Haoyang seemed to have entered another realm. However, at this point, it is impossible for Qin Yun to retreat. If he retreats without a fight, Lin Haoyang will become his heart's demon. If he wants to go further, it will be extremely difficult. Behind Qin Yun, the water spirit power gathered, and a 10-meter-high ice and snow giant suddenly appeared. This was the Shui Lingming of the Shuiwu sect's 3 arts, and it was extremely powerful. When Lin Haoyang saw the giant behind Tan Yun, he was not afraid. I killed countless demonic beasts. I was also afraid of you, a giant of ice and snow. Speaking of Junyu, the violent foot and the collapse of Jin erupted at the same time, and the terrifying power brought a burst of sonic booms and chopped off at the ice giant behind Tan Yun. Facing Lin Haoyang's blow, Qin Yun's face changed slightly, and he cursed inwardly. The body cultivator is indeed a lunatic and abnormal. Why did you tell me this is an attack that Golden Core can hit on the 6th floor? If this strike goes on, he has to lose half his life if he doesn't die. Boom. Junyu collided with the fist of the ice giant, the terrifying force collided, and instantly lifted all the ice and snow on the death battle stage, and all the coldness was wiped away in an instant. Under a single strike, Qin Yun has no extra power to maintain the snowy area. The force of more than 100,000 caddies blasted the ice giant back again and again, and a crack appeared in his arm. Obviously, he suffered a lot from the impact just now. On the other hand, Lin Haoyang not only did not retreat, but even carried Zhenyu to kill again, making it difficult for Qin Yun to fight. Off the court, the 3 female nuns were so shocked that they were speechless, and the strength displayed by Qin Yun had already made them feel a crisis. Unexpectedly, such a powerful Qin Yun would still be beaten by Lin Haoyang. Before they naively thought that Lin Haoyang was a trash relying on the teacher's gate. It was enough to see how short-sighted they were. No wonder Lin Haoyang didn't bother to care about you. This battle lasted for a quarter of an hour, and Lin Haoyang finally cut 13 swords before completely defeating the ice giant behind Tan Yun. The ice giant and Tan Yun are connected, and the collapse at this moment indicates that he has completely lost. Qin Yun laughed at himself suddenly, and then fainted. After cutting out 13 swords in succession, Lin Haoyang also consumed a lot of effort. After a long time of high-intensity confrontation, his tiger's mouth was already cracked. Sure enough, it is not easy to defeat them. It seems that this time, we must be careful. Lin Haoyang whispered. Tan Yun fainted. Lin Haoyang didn't hurt the killer. He was not the killer. However, Lin Haoyang walked over and took off the storage bag from Qin Yun. People cannot kill, but he must accept these weapons of war. As the representative of the Shuiwu sect, Qin Yun must have a lot of net worth. In addition to his previous bet of about 150,000 spirit stones, he gained at least 200,000 spirit power this time. No wonder there are so many people who like to kill for treasure. Don't get rich too quickly. Lin Hao feels disgusted with killing for treasure. But for Qin Yun, he didn't feel any pressure. This was what the other party provoked him first, and deserved it. Now, it's up to you, who will come? Lin Haoyang held Junyu round, only to the 3 female nuns. If there is another battle, today's harvest will probably be doubled. The female cultivator and the others were pale, and Tan Yun was so powerful that he was defeated. What use could they do to go up there? 68%. Chapter 407 Selection. The frenzied arrogance of the 3 female cultivators disappeared at this moment, and their faces were pale. They did not expect Lin Haoyang to be so strong. No, we surrender, the female cultivator said tremblingly. At this moment, her Dao heart has a rift. It is even more uncomfortable for them to admit that they have lost than to kill them. When Nangong Luyun was defeated by Lin Haoyang, he was also depressed for a long time. He could hardly accept that he was defeated by a savage sect. Later, there were constant news about Lin Haoyang, who relied on his hatred of Lin Haoyang to walk out of Heart's Demon and vowed to kill Lin Haoyang with his own hands in order to avenge his former revenge. The three female cultivators did not dare to fight. Lin Haoyang rarely talked with them, but it was a pity that this time he lost a lot of income. The three of them left with Tan Yun, who was in a coma, and did not dare to trouble Lin Haoyang again. After this incident, I am afraid that no one will question Lin Haoyang's strength. Moreover, after this battle, the loss was too great, and 150,000 spirit stones plus storage bags were taken away. No matter who it was unbearable. Lin Haoyang stepped off the battlefield and left with Sun Ning and Yang Bin. In Lin Haoyang's view, Tan Yun and the four were just an episode. The real powerhouses did not make any moves. When Lin Haoyang left, Nangong Luyan's figure appeared in a corner of the martial arts field. Sure enough, this guy is pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger again. These guys are so awkward, even Lin Haoyang's method of pressing the bottom of the box can't be tested. Forget it. If it's only like this, Lin Haoyang. You don't think of the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower. After all, Nangong Luyan's figure disappeared again, disappearing without a trace. After leaving the Battle of Death, Lin Haoyang left. There are still 20 days before the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda finally opens. He can still use the resources given by Ji Lingxi to try to open some acupoints. This time, he wants to try to increase the strength of Ascension to 80,000 Jin. Every time the strength increases by 10,000 Jin, there will be a lot of ascension in strength. On the 5th day of Lin Haoyang's arrival, the Zhanmeng began to select 33 people to participate in the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. Lin Haoyang had heard the news before and left at this time. In 5 days, Lin Haoyang turned on 2 acupoints again, and his power was already extremely close to 80,000 Jin. With 18 acupoints on both arms, 36 acupoints on both legs, a total of 54 acupoints, Lin Haoyang has opened 43 acupoints now, not far from the full opening of the foot. As long as one more acupoints is turned on, Lin Haoyang will be able to ascension his strength to 80,000 Jin, which will be an extra guarantee at that time. When Lin Haoyang came to the selection site, it immediately attracted everyone's attention. The Golden Core cultivation base on the 6th floor, the representatives of Hidao forces, and easily defeated Qin Yun, made everyone start to pay attention to Lin Haoyang. Some people who are going to trouble Lin Haoyang also have to thank Qin Yun. If he hadn't done it first, I'm afraid it would be them who would suffer this blast. Without the eyes of the people at the regular meeting, Lin Haoyang took a rough look. There were about 120 golden cores present, and the number of people who went out to the 7 great combat paths was occupied. In other words, these 120 people have to take 33 places, which can be said to be quite cruel. With Qin Yun's strength, he could have been ranked between 30 and 50. If he was lucky, he would be able to live a place. However, in a battle with Lin Haoyang took away his storage bag, leaving him with all his magical items and no chance. After Lin Haoyang went back, he tore away Tan Yun's storage bag, which contained a lot of good things. There are 3 magical items for the 4th tier top grade magical items, 1 for the 4th tier middle grade, 1 for each of the 4th tier top grade magical items, and 1 for the 5th tier low grade magical item. In addition, a variety of healing medicine pill is complete, including many cultivation techniques and classics, which should be captured by Qin Yun himself, but can be used to enrich the cultivation technique of Xuanzhenzong. The spirit stones are probably only a little over 30,000. After all, everyone had spent a lot of money for him to collect 150,000 spirit stones before. In other words, Qin Yun's storage bag alone can earn 200,000 spirit stones. At that time, Lin Haoyang couldn't wait for some more people to challenge him and go to the death battle stage, then he would not lack the cultivation resources in the future. It seemed that no one dared to trouble Lin Haoyang anymore. At this moment, Sun Ning saw Lin Haoyang's figure and hurried over. Behind her, Yang Bin was still not far away. Brother Lin, today's selection is a rare opportunity to observe the strength of other opponents. There are a few people who are indeed abnormal, Sun Ning said. Lin Haoyang frowned, making Sun Ning admit that they were abnormal. It seemed that his strength was very strong. Moreover, after Lin Haoyang came here, he also felt a few dangerous auras. One was a man in black standing in a corner, and could not see his appearance. The other was a young man with 7 swords on his back, closed his eyes and rested at the moment, but Lin Haoyang did not dare to underestimate the other. Then it is a woman in a palace costume, and she is talking with a few people at the moment. Feeling Lin Haoyang's gaze, looking to this side, the red light flashed in his eyes. Lin Haoyang only felt that he was in a place of red dust. In an instant, the red light dissipated, the illusion disappeared, and the woman smiled at Lin Haoyang and stopped paying attention to Lin Haoyang. Withdrawing from the illusion, Lin Haoyang's complexion was ashen. If she was in the fight just now, the woman would definitely be able to kill him. Seeing that Lin Haoyang's complexion was wrong, Sun Ning followed Lin Haoyang's gaze and saw the woman in the palace costume, with an angry expression on her face, and said, Hu Ling, Bayawazi Sr. sits down on the sixth disciple. Their line is all fairies. Lin Haoyang became interested when he heard this. In the jade slip that Zhao Duanlong gave him, there was a mention of Bayawazi, a very spiritual child, and they were the only two women in the 7 great combinations. Unlike Ji Lingxi's heroic posture, Bayawazi Sr. can be said to be the goddess in the hearts of all peoples. Bayawazi's cultivation is even more charming, and the cultivation of charm to Hidao is also unprecedented. In the human race, even if some people dare not give Longtu and Qianyuan the faces, they dare not give the faces of Ji Ling and Baihua the 2 females. They, a madman and a fairy, are all jealous, and the extremely spiritual is jealous. It is because she fights the law and wants to die. But fighting against Bayawazi is terrible. Once Bayawazi's charm disperses, you may not be able to stand it and you will be convinced. Rebellious. This is also the reason why Lin Haoyang is jealous of Ku Ling. An illusion comes over, and you don't know how you died. It seems that when I meet her again in the future, Lin Haoyang thinks about it in silence. Boom. As a bell rang, the audience suddenly calmed down. It was not that they were well disciplined, but that the bell made them feel uncomfortable. On the high platform, a yellow bell appeared in front of an old man, and the vibrating sound wave swayed away from it, quieting everyone. Lin Haoyang was also tortured by the bell, but there was no way, the old man was probably a god. Those present were all top geniuses, some even slayed nascent soul, and only the gods could restrain everyone. 68%. Chapter 408 What is a genius? When the bell disappeared, the old man smiled. Regardless of the contempt of the crowd, he spoke directly. My little friends, the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is about to open, and you are the best golden core selected by the human race. However, it is not enough. We only need the 40 strongest among you, so that when fighting against the Sea clan, you will have a chance. So, in the next few days, we will go through a selection process to select the strongest among you. Quote. As soon as these words came out, many people showed excitement. Just as the old man said, they are the golden core arrogance of the human race and have such arrogance. However, the old man's words also made some people awkward, and some proud people even couldn't help but ask. Senior, since we are going to compete for the strongest, shouldn't the 7 members of the Hidao Power also participate in the selection? Suddenly, the speaker became the focus of everyone, and these words were what everyone thought. Since we are going to fight for the strongest, should the 7 great combinations also end up fighting? Otherwise, how can they be considered the strongest? Thinking, the man also looked at Lin Haoyang. Although he had defeated Qin Yun, everyone did not see Lin Haoyang doing it with his own eyes, and they didn't believe that Golden Core 6 levels could have such strength. While everyone was waiting for the old man to answer, the person who spoke suddenly felt the boundless pressure pressed down and directly pressed him to the ground. Obviously, this is where the old man of God made the shot. Every day I don't know that I am cultivating well, I know that I use these crooked brains. If it weren't for the support of the 7 major seniors, could you have the stability that you waited for? Not to mention it is for a quota, even if all the 40 quotas belong to the 7 major seniors, who would dare to talk nonsense? The sect leaders and patriarchs have not said anything, it is your turn to come here to comment. Waste, just like you, still want to enter the secret realm. Wait for you to be the first to play, your opponent. Broken. Quote. He was completely panicked when he heard that he was confronted with Broken Sword. Although he considered himself a genius, he had no chance of winning against Broken Sword. Before it broke out, 3 golden cores slashed Nascent Soul, and Broken Sword was one of them. Therefore, because of his words, his trip to the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower was completely ruined. The other people who wanted to speak before also shut up, and didn't dare to say anything. The old man was right. The contribution of the 7 great Hidao cultivators to the human race cannot be measured. In the past few times, no one dared to question the Hidao power. Because they are too strong, so strong that they can only look up, not thinking about it at all. But this time, because of Lin Haoyang's relationship, these thoughts were moved. If Lin Haoyang didn't have this place, would they have one more person to enter the 8th stage mysterious tower? 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, the treasure land of the immortal family. As long as there is a receipt in it, it is a great opportunity. If you can go up to the 6th floor, you will have the opportunity to attack the god of transformation, and if you go up to the 7th floor, you will have a chance to hit Hidao. Although there is only a glimmer of opportunity, it also makes people yearn for. If you can get to the 8th floor and get a magical item, the entire human race will try their best to cultivate, and its contribution is unimaginable. In the crowd, Nangong Luyun was full of disdain when looking at the person who was crushed on the ground. If he dares to say such things at this time, it is definitely seeking death. Beside him, a woman was hidden in a green robe, saying, "Are you sure to kill him?" Nangong Luyun flashed a murderous look in his eyes, then the corner of his mouth curled, saying, "You don't need to do it. He wants to kill more than me. I'm afraid it is you." "Oh, why does he want to kill me? I have never confronted him." The woman was puzzled. "Don't forget, in the Shuyang Mountain secret realm, you killed Zheng Xiaoxi in the Chongshan Tower. He has a good relationship with Zheng Jicheng. You said Zheng Jicheng would let Lin Haoyang give her revenge. I heard that Lin Haoyang's daughter was worshipped by Zheng Jicheng. These years, you are afraid of Zheng Jicheng's revenge, and you dare not step out of the mountain gate. Now that the old guy Zheng Jicheng is dead, don't be too happy." Nangong Luyun said. The woman in the female robe frowned, but he had forgotten this. Since the torture of Zheng Xiaoxi, she really did not dare to take a step out of the mountain, and she could not bear the anger of a nascent soul late stage. She was sure that as long as he got out of the Baixian gate, Zheng Jicheng would come to kill her desperately. This woman in the female robe was the mysterious one who killed Zheng Xiaoxi in the secret realm of Shuyang Mountain. Zan Yu didn't say much, she just cast her gaze on Lin Haoyang, not knowing what she was thinking. The selection continued, and the old man flew into the air, and 123 auras flew out of him and fell into the hands of everyone. The number cards in your hand will determine the order of your next battles, and wait for the next 10 consecutive matches until the final 33 positions on the elimination road. Next, call the Dao name card, come on. The old man said. After all, the old man sat in the sky in lotus position. He came here just to frighten everyone. Transcendent, it is impossible to preside over the selection personally. 10 nascent souls flew out and landed on a martial arts arena. They began to call out the number cards, and the selection officially began. The person who spoke before played in the first round, and his opponent was the broken knife. He refused to accept, and tried his best, but only supported a stick of incense, and was defeated by broken Dao. Had it not been for the selection and no murder, I am afraid he would have died at the moment. With its original strength, if it didn't encounter a pervert like Broken Blade, it should have a chance to enter the top 33, but because of a word, it completely ruined his chance. When he left, he glanced at Lin Haoyang fiercely. If he didn't break the knife or cruel the cultivator, he would be cruel to Lin Haoyang. If it were not for Lin Haoyang that only had the golden core 6-layer cultivation base, nothing would happen today. Maybe he would have the opportunity to enter the 8th stage profound crystal. Feeling that person's gaze, Lin Haoyang frowned slightly. What happened to these people? Distorted in your heart, my cultivation base is poor. Is that why you messed up? That person had already hated Lin Haoyang, but Lin Haoyang didn't care at all. This kind of person could not threaten Lin Haoyang in the slightest. It was the broken knife that made Lin Haoyang very vigilant. This person's strength was really terrifying, and Lin Haoyang felt that even if he tried his best, he might only be able to beat the broken knife 5-5. In Zhao Duanlong's Jade Pendant, there are also introductions about the broken knife, but very few. The above said that the broken knife comes from the top strength of the 6th rank, the knife domain. Dao Yu once had a Hidao great power who had Hidao inheritance, but because there was no Hidao seat, he fell from the 7th rank to the top of the 6th rank. The Dao Dao is considered to be the most promising person in Dao Yu for hundreds of years, so Dao Yu's cultivation of Dao Dao has reached the extreme. This is also the reason why his golden core can fight nascent soul. It is indeed a monster. After Broken Knife ended the selection, I stood aside. There were more than 120 people who had to participate in at least 2 selections before they could enter the top 33, so Broken Knife had another one. At this time, other martial arts fields also gradually had results. These people were extremely strong, and it was extremely difficult for Lin Haoyang to defeat them. Soon the second group came onto the court, but one of the women in the robe caught Lin Haoyang's attention. As soon as she shot, Lin Haoyang's eyes were murderous. 68%. Chapter 409. The Art of Witchcraft. The person in the field is Xuanyu. Zheng Jicheng's origin has declined, and everything is due to Xuanyu. At the third stage of the trial, there was no rigorous fighting rules, and the two seeds of Baixianmen began to kill people everywhere. If Lin Haoyang had not a small chance to obtain a bone of curse, otherwise he would have been buried in the secret realm long ago. Nangong Luyun also escaped because of the cursed bones. He had seen Nangong Luyun before. He should have thought that Xuanyu would definitely not miss this opportunity. Although Nangong Luyun was seriously injured by Lin Haoyang and cultivated for a period of time, he was also a blessing in disguise, breaking Heart's demon, and letting his own Dao heart rise to the next level. On Xuanyu's side, it was not easy, because the method was too cruel, and was stared at by several cultivators, especially Zheng Jicheng. One day when Zheng Jicheng was alive, he did not dare to take a step out of the 100 Immortal Gate. Now that Zheng Jicheng is dead, he even dared to participate in the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower competition. If you dare to come, you will be abandoned, but I will not kill you. Wanner will take your life. Lin Haoyang said to himself. In the crowd, Lin Haoyang saw the figure of Nangong Luyun again. Lin Haoyang's eyes were dark. Since you really dare to come, you must be ready to die. On the field, Xuanyu was so fascinated with the witchcraft technique, countless witch insects flew out, enveloping a golden core with 9 layers. These flying insects are extremely powerful. With the strength of the golden core 9 layers, under a single strike, they can only kill more than a dozen. That golden core 9th level, the strength is not weak. Urging the cultivation technique, a purple flame emerges from it, and all the flying insects are turned into ashes wherever the purple flame passes. The flying insects that had been killed very slowly before, now that a large number of them have died, they have suffered heavy losses. Zhan Yu's face also frowned slightly. She didn't expect this person to be carrying such a powerful flame. But then, with a smile on his face, a little purple fire could stop her. Xuanyu patted the storage bag. Those flying insects flew back and fell into a small sack on her waist. At the same time, another small sack opened, and hundreds of palm-sized red flying insects flew out of it. These flying insects are 6-legged, with huge and sharp jaws, like 2 sharp blades. These red flying insects were not afraid of the purple fire on the 9th layer of the golden core. They rushed directly into the purple fire and strangled against the 9th layer of the golden core. Seeing these red flying insects on the 9th floor of golden core, his complexion changed drastically. He didn't know the thousands of flying insects before, but he was most familiar with this kind of fire eater. The purple fire of their vein restrains the zergs and demonic beasts, but they are only afraid of the fire eater, because this fire eater is not afraid of all flames, and even likes to feed on flames. Seeing that the situation was not good, the golden core cultivator immediately took back the purple fire and sent 2 thunder talisman, which turned into countless thunders, and smashed them at the fire eater. Zhan Yu saw that the golden core 9th layer took out the magic talisman. He didn't care about the life and death of the fire eater, and still ordered the fire eater to strangle the opponent. The terrifying thunder fell. The golden core 9-layer thunder path attack still had some effect, and suddenly hundreds of fire eaters died under the magic talisman. The group of fire-eating insects Xuanyu released contained a total of 500, and the loss of hundreds of them at the moment was harmless. In an instant, the 9th floor of Golden Core was surrounded by the remaining fire-eating worms, and the 9th floor of Golden Core could only send out own magical item, a purple lupin fan, and began to counterattack. However, there were too many fire-eater insects, and soon the demonic beasts on the 9th floor of Golden Core were bitten by fire-eater insects, and blood flowed out. The fire eater that broke through the 9th layer defense of the Golden Core cultivator flew back, sending a drop of blood to Xuanyu's hand. Golden Core's 9th layer combat power is not weak. In a short moment, most of the 400 fire eaters were lost, and only more than 100 were left. More than 100 fire eaters have become difficult to climb it. The Golden Core 9th layer cultivator suddenly increased morale, and once again killed Xuanyu. This time, Zhan Yu did not release the flying insect again, but patted the storage bag, and a scarecrow appeared in his hand. I saw Xuanyu drip the blood from the 9th floor of the Golden Core on the scarecrow. A weird scene happened. The scarecrow seemed to be alive, doing the same action as the cultivator of the 9th floor of the Golden Core. The 9th floor of Golden Core was also shocked. He had long heard that there was a Golden Core in the Baixianmen, who was good at witchcraft. The flying insects used to be regarded as gushu, but now the scarecrow should be witchcraft. Witchcraft is weird, and the number of people cultivated is also very small. Everyone at the scene cast their eyes on Xuanyu, wanting to see the power of witchcraft. Zhan Yu didn't even have the slightest intention to hide her own secrets. She saw her right hand suddenly moved, and directly removed the scarecrow's right leg, but immediately she turned pale. What? When Xuan Yu broke the scarecrow's right leg, the cultivator on the 9th floor of Golden Core also let out a crying roar, and then his right leg was also torn apart. As if there was some excitement, Sheng Sheng tore off his right hand. Seeing that Xuan Yu's methods are so terrifying, all the people present here have changed their faces. Although they have long heard of the terrible witchcraft, they did not expect that it would be so terrible. After one blow, the scarecrow in Zhan Yu's hand disappeared, as if his strength had been exhausted. The assassin of the Golden Core 9th tier cultivator looked terrified to the extreme. He couldn't resist the power just now. Is witchcraft so terrifying? There was also silence down the court, just because of a drop of blood and lost a leg, such a weird technique, who would dare to fight Xuan Yu? Even the broken knife before looked solemn, and even he didn't dare to guarantee that he would not get hurt in the fighting. If his blood falls into Zhan Yu's hands, this is not over. Next to Lin Haoyang, Sun Ning was really scared at the moment. Although Broken Sword was strong, he still couldn't scare her, and her combat power was still within the controllable range. But Xuan Yu's methods have exceeded everyone's understanding, making people unable to cope. Don't worry, even though Xuan Yu launched this strike, she doesn't feel good about it herself. Lin Haoyang whispered. Yes, the 9th level of Golden Core on the opposite side is not weak. Xuan Yu paid a lot of money to break one of the other's legs. Her face was pale at this moment, and it was obviously not that easy to launch this strike. But compared to Golden Core's 9-layer broken leg, this is nothing at all. Suddenly, Xuan Yu's face showed madness, and a bug suddenly picked up the short legs of the Golden Core 9th stage and came straight to Xuan Yu, extremely fast. The bug was not big, only the size of a fingernail, holding a broken leg that was 100 times larger than his size, and its speed didn't affect it at all. At this moment, the 9th floor of Golden Core was completely panicked. With a drop of blood, he lost a leg. Now that his own leg fell into the opponent's hand, can he still live? At the moment when Golden Core 9th stage hesitated, the bug had already brought Golden Core 9th stage's legs to Xuan Yu's side. At the same time, a scarecrow appeared in Xuan Yu's hands. The cultivator on the 9th floor of Golden Core saw the scarecrow, his face changed greatly, and his heart was terrified, and he dared not fight again. I think, however, before he finished speaking, Xuan Yu's blood-stained finger pressed a finger on the scarecrow's lips, and Golden Core 9th floor was speechless. At this moment, the 9th floor of Golden Core was really panicked, because he saw that Xuan Yu's hand was turning towards his head. Golden Core's 9th layer eyes were cracking, staring at Xuan Yu, his eyes full of despair. Xuan Yu ignored the 9th layer Golden Core cultivator. With a movement of his hand, the head of the scarecrow was twisted by Xuan Yu. 69%. Chapter 410. When Xuan Yu twisted the scarecrow's head, the 9th floor of the Golden Core opposite her was truly terrified. He didn't expect death to be so close to him for the first time. When everyone off the court saw Xuan Yu twisting the scarecrow's neck, most of them were shocked. Isn't the selection not allowed to kill? Because of Xuan Yu's previous shots, everyone's judgment was affected, but now, although the scarecrow's head is broken, his opponent has not reacted at all. In other words, Zhan Yu was completely bluffing just now. The 9th layer of Golden Core's face flushed, and the other party just frightened him. He was so embarrassed, really greedy for life and fear of death. Everyone also reacted immediately. Yes, if Zhan Yu really wanted to kill someone, the cultivator present would definitely stop him, and it would be impossible to watch Zhan Yu kill someone. The cultivator didn't move, that is to say, he had already seen that Xuan Yu was an illusory shot. Looking at the contemptuous Xuan Yu face in the field, Lin Haoyang's face was a little ugly. Xuan Yu still looked crazy, and didn't care about the opinions of outsiders. If it weren't for the cultivator of the gods to sit here, I'm afraid it would be on the 9th floor of Golden Core, at this moment. It must have been killed. Outside the court, Nangong Luyun watched this scene with a little helplessness. Even if it was him, he didn't want to fight with Xuan Yu. This woman was a lunatic. If it weren't for the restraint of the cultivator in the sect, Xuan Yu would have been killed as a demon cultivator. It would be a miracle that Xuan Yu could live now. Xuan Yu was considered an anomaly in the selection, but was soon covered up by others, and there were too many perverts present. There are already more than 10 people who can draw Lin Haoyang's attention. Lin Haoyang suddenly feels that there are too many abnormalities in this world. At the end of the first day of selection, more than 60 people were eliminated. The worst of them was the 8th floor of Golden Core. Lin Haoyang's Golden Core cultivation base on the 6th floor was able to advance to the end. No wonder there were so many people targeting him. Among them, more than 10 people were remembered by Lin Haoyang, and for these people, Lin Haoyang was not absolutely sure that he could defeat them. As for the others, if there is no hidden strength, Lin Haoyang still has the confidence to defeat them. As expected by Lin Haoyang, Yang Bin is extremely strong, and he didn't spend much effort to deal with the ordinary Golden Core 9-layer cultivator. Except for the more than a dozen people, there are 5 other people from the Taoist forces. They have never taken action. Lin Haoyang is difficult to judge, but from the perspective of Ku Ling, the strength of these people is definitely not weak. Soon, the next day of selection will come, and today we will be competing for the top 33. Yesterday's weaker group of people have been eliminated, and today are some stronger ones. Some people who want to hide their strength can't find the opportunity, so they can only shoot with all their strength. As a result, Lin Haoyang had new insights into everyone's strength level. Sun Ning looked depressed. Originally, she thought that this trip to the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda would not be under pressure. After all, she was a disciple of the Hidao cultivator. After watching everyone's selection, she suddenly felt that she had no advantage at all. The selection on the second day only lasted for a long time before it was over. Since it is not a life and death battle, there is also a cultivator guarding the gods. They have no scruples, do their best, and fight fiercely in every battle. However, it was still defeated very quickly when encountering the abnormality of Broken Knife. However, this time, the Golden Core cultivator only supported a stick of incense and then failed. It is enough to see how strong Broken Knife is. In the second round, 3 Golden Core powerhouses could not hide, exposing their own strength. Lin Haoyang looked at the powerful people with a headache. If his cultivation base really reached the 9th floor of the Golden Core, he would not be afraid of it. But at this moment, he is really depressed. How did you cultivate? How can it be so fast? Lin Haoyang thought that he had a good chance, and he was worshipped by Ji Lingxi, but he was just among the strongest. He didn't believe it if he had to say that he had the power to defeat them. Moreover, this time it was to select the strong to participate in the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower. Naturally, it is impossible for the strong to meet, and none of those who have shown their strong ability in the first round have met. After a day of selection, the first 33 were selected. Someone fought twice a day, but they did not complain. The last few people were sure that it was the last few people's battles. Without the enchanting intervention, they still have a chance. If it is disrupted immediately, they will not have the slightest chance when they encounter these evildoers. Unfortunately, none of the 4 people who targeted Lin Haoyang entered the top 33 and did not get the opportunity to enter the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. Among the 4, Tan Yun had the most chance, because Lin Haoyang took all the resources, and even his own magical item was taken by Lin Haoyang, thus missing this opportunity. The 33 people were all determined, and the selection was completely over. This time the selection was not as procrastinated as before, and it was completed in a short time. After the selection is over, there are still 10 days to open the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda. During this time, Lin Haoyang will try to use the resources given to him by Ji Lingxi to ascension own strength. For every ascension point of his strength, he may gain 1 point more this time, and his life may be 1 point more. Not only Lin Haoyang was the only one who had this idea, but he had already left before the selection was over. It seemed that he saw everyone's methods and wanted to ascension his own strength. Saying goodbye to Sun Ning and Yang Bin and returning to own Immortal Cave. Lin Haoyang's recent cultivation base ascension is a bit fast. If he wants to re-ascension cultivation base, in addition to penance, he can only use the 5th order spirit fruit and the 5th order spirit pill. Only a tier 5 spiritual creature can give Lin Haoyang's cultivation base a leap forward ascension. Cultivation base is difficult to ascension. His divine sense power, ascension has reached the peak of Golden Core. Lin Haoyang has survived a large number of divine soul element crystals since he obtained the 7-colored 1000 cloud cover. He took most of these divine soul element crystals and put them in the Xuanjun sect's treasury, in exchange for the Xuanjun sect's disciples and the extreme spirit. Treasures such as divine soul Yuanjing thought, even the extreme spirits were extremely things. Of course, Lin Haoyang himself also left a part, which can be used for him to bring cultivation base ascension to realm, the top of nascent soul. Before coming here, Lin Haoyang used divine soul element crystal to bring his own divine sense ascension to the limit of Golden Core. Before, in the colorful thousand cloud cover, Lin Haoyang had already put his own divine sense ascension to the 9th level, but at that time, Lin Haoyang could gain a trace of divine sense by taking the original crystal of divine soul. In order to pursue the limit of own, Lin Haoyang's divine sense has reached the limit of golden core after refining a large amount of divine sense. There is the slightest ascension. Unless there is a treasure land like the 9-dragon array, which can be used by Lin Haoyang to compress divine sense. But this kind of opportunity is rare, and rare, even if it is an extremely spiritual child, there is no such treasure in his hands. Neither cultivation base nor divine sense could get a sharp ascension within a long time, so Lin Haoyang turned his attention to the flesh. Although his body is no worse than some nascent soul early stage, there is still room for improvement. In addition to borrowing the resources donated by Ji-Link C, Lin Haoyang will also sell all the gains from Qin Yun, for a total of 300,000 spirit stones. Lin Haoyang didn't give up any of these, all of which were replaced by Ascension's physical resources. In these 10 days, Lin Haoyang will try to increase the number of own acupoints to 60. 69%. Chapter 411 Secret Realm Open. Lin Haoyang closed door training. Everyone is making final preparations, even Sun Ning, starting closed door training Ascension own strength. On the human side, the final preparations began. In the depths of the East China Sea, there is a group of magnificent palaces. There are countless marine creatures wandering here on the bottom of the sea, but within 100 miles of the palace, no fish dared to approach it. Compared with the mainland, there are more demonic beasts in the ocean, larger body, and possibly stronger flesh. There is no gravity in the ocean, and they all rely on seawater to survive, so there is no need to worry about their huge size. In other words, their size is almost unlimited. It is possible that they are only Tier 5 demonic beasts, and their length may exceed 100 meters, which is the same as Tier 6 demonic beasts. Moreover, because the ocean has strong water pressure, each demonic beast must grow leather armor and scales that can resist such pressure in order to survive in the deep sea. Therefore, the demonic beasts in the deep sea are more terrifying than the demonic beasts on the mainland, and the same rank human race is difficult to break through the leather armor and scales of the demonic beasts in the deep sea. However, the deep-sea demonic beasts also have a shortcoming. It is difficult for them to leave the deep sea for a long time because they cannot survive on land. Some can't even leave the deep sea. Their leather armor is used to the huge pressure of the deep sea, and the pressure is gone for a while. If their strength can't suppress the flesh and the blood in their whole body is reversed, their brains will be shattered by qi and blood. In the deep-sea palace, a mermaid stood in the field, reporting the situation of the human race to the shadow of the main seat. Obviously, these sea-race demonic beasts have eyes and ears in the human race, and their status is not low. I'm afraid they even know the results of the selection. When the mermaid finished the report, the figure sitting in the main seat opened his eyes. This time the preparations of the human race were a little bit more than he expected. What is the Taoists' conspiracy? Demonic beasts in the deep sea did not actually conflict with the human race. After the human race occupied the 50,000-mile offshore area, they did not go deep into the sea. For demonic beasts, the 50,000 miles offshore has little effect on them. The important members of the Sea Clan are not in the sea at all, and those races in the sea are simply dispensable to the Sea Clan. Therefore, the Terran and the Sea Clan demonic beasts have no feud. Over the years, the Terran has even had a lot of transactions with the Sea Clan demonic beasts. The human race needs some mineral resources in the deep sea, and the sea race needs resources such as medicine pill and spiritual objects refined by the human race. The two races have mutually benefited, and for many years, there has not been too much friction. Not long ago, the Sea Clan suddenly launched an offensive against the human race, but the offensive force was not strong, and it was quite a feint. As soon as the sea race demonic beasts moved, the Terran race was immediately alert, except for the strongest sword-bearer among the 7 great combinations, and even the dragon too who guarded the Iron and Blood City was transferred. Everything is because of the demonic beasts of the sea race, which is too powerful. The war did not last too long. Soon news of the fairy tomb came out. The deep-sea demonic beasts retired and sent some top powerhouses to the dark forest. This part of the strong, at least their strength has reached the stage of transforming into a god, and only after reaching the stage of transforming into a god can they transform into a human form. Only by transforming the gods can they resist the strong pressure between the deep sea and the mainland. The fairy tomb was born, the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda was opened, and the recent major events were one after another, and the Sea Clan was also a little hurried. If it is turned on 8th stage mysterious crystal tower, the human family needs help. I'm afraid they would not cooperate with the human family. Mermaid, long jiao, magic shark, tiger eel, white whale soul, you have sent the strongest of the 5 races that several people, the rest of the race, also sent their own family, the strongest 4th order, regardless of their family who have the what kind of conspiracy, you all smash me, the 8th layer must not be taken away by them. The person sitting in the first place said quietly. Everyone was slightly startled. It was the first time for the Sea Clan to make such a big move. Although he paid attention to it before, he did not come out like this. You know, the strongest tier 4 of the 5 races, such as Mermaid, already has tier 5 strength. It shouldn't be too simple to deal with the human races of the Golden Core stage. And that mysterious crystal tower 8th stage deep seabed, since 2 years, have all been eroded. Sea family here, combat power will not have the slightest impact on the human family, but added suppressed tightly. Therefore, in every battle of the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, the human race can't actually take much advantage. What makes the atmosphere of the sea race is that only the human race can open the 8th stage profound crystal tower. With the strength of the sea race, you should be able to enter the 8th floor. But every time, the people of the human race can only reach the 7th level, leaving the sea race to guard a treasure mountain in the air, and each time the sea race is half dead. The consequence is that the Sea Clan even more despises the human race, saying that the human race is useless, 1 generation is inferior to 1 generation, and the treasures left by the ancestors cannot be taken. Time is running out, and all the races in the sea have also begun to move. Some strong men began to take the strongest tier 4 juniors in the race to the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. Time to flash, 10 days will soon be over. Lin Haoyang suddenly opened his eyes, ending own closed door training. In 10 days, Lin Haoyang finally made a breakthrough again with the resources that Jilingxi gave him, and turned on 50 acupoints. Then, he spent almost 150,000 spirit stones resources and turned on 3 again, acupoints. In other words, this closed door training, Lin Haoyang from the Storm Foot acupoint S fully open, also leaving only 1. With the resources in Lin Haoyang's hands, it should not be difficult to open this acupoints, but time is not allowed. When 10 days are up, everyone must assemble and rush to the sea area where the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is located. Lin Haoyang the open acupoint S a lot of power directly to the ascension Lin Haoyang about nearly 1,000,000 kilograms, to the horror of 92,000 jin. 10 kilograms, the limit of Golden Core Cultivator, Lin Haoyang open 53 acupoint S, is already close to the limit. If he reopens several acupoint S Lin Haoyang do not know, that time what will condition. The only feeling is that the resources consumed to open an acupoints now are almost twice as much as before. The most important thing is that every time he opens acupoints, the resources he needs are still ascension. I am afraid that if he opens 1 or 2 acupoints, the required resources will triple. When Lin Haoyang came to the gathering place, many people had already arrived. Seeing Lin Haoyang's arrival, Sun Ning walked over immediately and whispered. Senior brother Lin, my human sword has been trained and my combat power has greatly increased. Now you are not necessarily my opponent. Only Lin Haoyang could hear Sun Ning's voice. Heard the remark, Lin Haoyang surprised, adult repair knife. In the colorful thousand cloud cover, he has already seen the terrifying power of the human sword. With a single cut, tier 5 demonic beasts can hardly bear the power of this sword. Sun Ning's refining of adult swords shows that she is indeed very talented, and that it is made with human swords, which shows that it has become one of the top evildoers. Sun Ning did not practice before the knife adult, even if her talent again strong, cultivation base even to the Golden Core peak, nor is Lin Haoyang opponent. Make people knife but Sun Ning, Lin Haoyang there is no absolute certainty can overcome Sun Ning, after all, a knife, but a pulse too long signs 3 measures. 69%. Chapter 412 Sea Race Demonic Beasts. Soon, all the cultivators qualified to enter the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda were all gathered. Lin Haoyang just took a look, and he couldn't help but feel a little headache. These people can be said to be the top powerhouses in the Golden Core realm of the human race. Everyone here can easily defeat the same rank. Even nascent soul has the power to fight. The most enchanting people can even kill nascent soul with their own hands. From the current situation, at least 3 people have the power to kill nascent soul, but Lin Haoyang doesn't know how many people still have the power to hide. But he knew that the descendants of every He Dao force were definitely not weak. Just like Sun Ning, as long as she practiced adult swordsmanship, He was qualified to stand on top of the golden core. Few people dared to provoke him. This is the power of Hidao Tong. Soon, someone appeared in front of everyone, and this person appeared, causing many people to exclaim. Lin Haoyang also avoided major changes. He had seen this person in the Sage Hall of Jagged City that day. This person was sitting in the first place that day. In other words, this person is the strongest person in the world, the sword bearer. Lin Haoyang was also a disciple of Harmony, so he still had this knowledge. No one knows where the sword bearer was in the cultivator. Even if someone knows, there are only a few cultivators of the cultivator. Sword holders must be in harmony. Its combat power is said to be the strongest of the human race, and it is no exaggeration, because the sword holder can control the sword chi of the ancient bronze sword. Although it is not the entity that controls it, it is just sword chi, but as soon as sword chi is opened, it is the peak of Hidao, and the peak of Hidao is the strongest in the world, so he is the strongest of the human race, and there is no problem. Lin Haoyang did not expect that for an 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, the sword bearer would personally come to protect them. Not only Lin Haoyang, but many people have recognized the identity of the sword bearer. Although they know the sword bearer, they are second only to the portrait. As for the real person, they have never seen it. I have seen a sword bearer. 40 people present. Chi-Chi respectfully said, this is the biggest protector and hero of the human race, and everyone is under his protection. With him, there is today's human race. The lifespan of a cultivator is not endless. The lifespan of an ordinary cultivator is about 6,000 years. If you cultivate the cultivation technique to prolong your life, it can reach up to 8,000 years. But there is only one Hidao who lived to be 8,000 years old, and he was the strong one of the previous generation of dual cultivation of the law body, but that was already 5,000 years ago. That generation of dual cultivation powerhouses, their strength has reached the late stage of Hidao. Although they are not sword holders, they are only slightly worse than the peak of Hidao. His origin is extremely powerful. Since he moved here, the dual cultivation of Dharma body is the strongest person, and his lifespan is also the longest, even surpassing 8,000 years of age. But he couldn't wait for the day when his lifespan was exhausted. At that time, the human race expanded and the demonic beasts in the north came under heavy pressure. At that time, there were only 4 human races, and the human race had enemies in all directions. Without support, the retreat was the hinterland of the human race. Demonic beasts, the 7th order demon emperor, entered the hinterland of the human race, and that was the end of the human race. In that battle, the aging body of dual cultivation combined Dao, with one enemy and 2, never retreat, and finally burned the origin, desperately killing a 7th order demon emperor, and the other, his body was destroyed, leaving only one emperor pill. Escape. In that battle, the source of the dual cultivation of the law body was exhausted and fell to the battlefield, but with him alone, he defended the northern border. The 2 great demon emperors in the northern territory were defeated, and they were unable to counterattack in the past 5,000 years. The Tan Yun that Lin Haoyang met before was the 6th rank power that was established after that battle. It is because of the bloodshed of these sages that the human race can continue to prosper, and it can be said that the human race has come to the most prosperous era. The top golden core recommended by you all over the place. The destination you are going to this time 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. Compared to what you already know, we have already reached the 7th floor after opening it several times before. As for the 8th floor, the previous generations have not been able to open it. This time, it is the strongest generation sent by the human race. This time I hope someone can get to the 8th floor and bring me things from the 8th floor. The 8th layer is extremely important to the human race, and it can even be said that it can subvert the current battle situation. However, if you do not have the strength to defeat the C-clan demonic beasts, even if you have the ability to open the 8th floor, you cannot open the 8th floor, because if the C-clan gets the 8th floor things, I am afraid we will face a more serious situation. Although we won't be annihilated, I'm afraid we won't be able to gain anything in the next trip to the fairy tomb. After the sword bearer finished speaking, everyone looked aside. They had never thought that the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda would involve such a huge scale, even involving the fairy tomb. It's about 40 years before the fairy tomb opens. Except for Lin Haoyang, all of them have reached the 9th floor of the golden core. In other words, they would definitely be able to participate in the trip to the fairy tomb, because they had already given birth at that time. Not to mention anything else, even Lin Haoyang, the weakest in strength, is sure to enter nascent soul, let alone other things. If they lose this time, they won't have a chance in the fairy tomb. They can't accept it. Just like the sword bearer said, if the 8th floor can't be opened, then it won't be opened. If they can flow the blood of the demonic beast side killing, does it mean that they will be more sure about the next trip to the fairy tomb? Seeing the many thoughts on everyone's faces, Lin Haoyang just smiled. He had been to Tianqing Minor World. He knew how dangerous it was. Even if the Sea clan takes the advantage, it will not affect him much, because he has an agreement with the 10-armed Blue Skin clan, and he has a back door. But what makes him a headache is that his 2 seniors are not good at divine sense. Will there be any problems then? Lin Haoyang quietly glanced at Ku Ling, and heard that Bayawazi's line is good at divine sense. I don't know if I can cooperate at that time. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I can get in touch with 1 or 2. On the side, Sun Ning followed Lin Haoyang's gaze and saw Ku Ling, and then frowned. Sure enough, men are greedy, but she knew that Lin Haoyang had a Dao companion. Moreover, there seems to be more than one. Lin Haoyang directly chose to ignore Sun Ning's gaze. This woman was a bit too stupid. On the contrary, that Ku Ling seemed to feel Lin Haoyang's gaze, turned his head and glanced at Lin Haoyang, pursing his lips. Lin Haoyang was also unmoved, looked back and smiled. Well, what should be said is also said. Remember, you are not only for you, but also for sect and the entire human race behind you. After the sword bearer said, a roll of sleeve robe, more than 40 people disappeared on the spot, and then the sword bearer turned into a streamer and flew away in one direction. A day later, the sword bearer came to a sea area, which was far away from the land, and came to the deep sea, which was surrounded by a sea. Don't hide, come out. As soon as the sword bearer's voice fell, the ocean suddenly trembled violently, and countless behemoths of the ocean emerged, an extremely large individual. Seeing these huge sea beasts, the sword bearer just smiled slightly, and with a wave of his sleeves, Lin Haoyang and more than 40 people were thrown out. As soon as they came out, Lin Haoyang and the others' complexions changed wildly. These sea-race demonic beasts were too big. 69%. Chapter 413. Under the Deep Sea. Not only Lin Haoyang, but the other people's faces were not good-looking. They must have obtained relevant information before they came, but now that they really see it, the shock in their hearts is still strong. There are only a few people who can maintain their composure. Among them are cruel people like Broken Sword. However, those who can come here are not simple characters. After a short period of days, everyone returns to normal. And the fighting spirit is high. Seeing the changes in the crowd, a mermaid suddenly spoke. Unexpectedly, those of you who came this time still have some abilities. The mermaid said that among the demonic beasts of the Sea clan, his size is the smallest, but this does not mean that his strength is the weakest. The strength of someone who can speak with the sword holder at this time has reached the 7th order level. This mermaid is probably the emperor of the mermaid clan. You are not bad, all of your 5 clans are here, and your king. Is anyone from their line coming this time? The sword holder said. Naturally, there are. Once the fairy tomb comes out, if the 8th floor can be opened this time with the advantage that both you and my race can have, otherwise, the big head will be taken by those guys on the land, then you will lose a lot. Mermaid Road. The sword bearer nodded and looked at the Sea clan with 2 heads 100 meters away. He didn't expect that for this 8th stage Xuanjing, the Sea clan had sent 2 7th order monster emperors. Sea clan really wants to do his best this time. Moreover, that group has started. Do they really have a chance? To be able to become the king of the demon emperor, one can imagine how terrifying the clan the sword bearer is talking about. Okay, don't talk nonsense, let's just start. Whether you can open the 8th floor, it depends on their good fortune. The sword bearer said, with a flick of his finger, and then 40 auras flew out. These auras fell into the hands of Lin Haoyang and the others, and the light dissipated, revealing a momentary blue bead. Avoiding the water droplets can allow you to go deep into the deep sea for thousands of miles. Remember, this thing must not be lost, otherwise, even if you have great gains in the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, you will not be able to bring them out. When Lin Haoyang and the others heard this, their expressions changed immediately, and they all carefully put away these water-repelling beads. If this thing was lost, they might really come out. Thousands of miles in the deep sea is not a place where a group of golden cores can survive. The huge pressure directly crushes them into mud. Lin Haoyang took advantage of the fact that he didn't pay attention, and directly put the water bead into the colorful cloud cover. This place, he was most relieved. Now he has the breakthrough golden core 6 floors. The Dantian space has also expanded to 2 cubic meters in size, and the internal space of the colorful thousand cloud cover has also grown to 20 cubic meters. 20 cubic meters of space is still a bit small for Lin Haoyang, but it is completely enough to store some important items. The most important thing is that the colorful thousand clouds cover can store living things. However, Lin Haoyang's Dantian space is still small, and the effect of the colorful thousand cloud cover is still not obvious. If Lin Haoyang's Dantian space is enlarged, the effect will be greatly enhanced. Sneak attack or something, don't be too simple. Okay, let's go on. After the sword holder finished, and patted with his own hands, everyone felt a huge pressure from the sky. Their bodies fell into the sea unconsciously, and when they first touched the sea, they formed a huge spirit power shield, guarding Lin Haoyang and others. The spirit power shield is extremely sturdy, and the pressure of the seawater has no effect on it. Okay, go down too. Remember, this time you must go to the 8th floor. No matter what means. The mermaid said. The huge demonic beasts next to him cheered and plunged into the deep sea. Go. When advancing like the deep sea, their body size keeps shrinking, as if they can change their own body shape by taking advantage of the sea pressure. Soon, demonic beasts of the sea race surpassed the spirit power shield made by the sword bearer and plunged into the dark sea. Lin Haoyang and the others drove these sea race demonic beasts, each with solemn expressions. It seemed that this time, it was more difficult than they thought. Although they couldn't keep up with the speed of these natural sea race demonic beasts, after an hour, everyone also arrived at the destination. At this time, those sea races had already arrived here. Although it is less than 10,000 miles here, it is already very close. It is the first time that Lin Haoyang has seen it in such a deep sea, and he is curious for a while. There is no sunlight and darkness here, as if no fetish can survive here. In Lin Haoyang's view, this was the case, except for the demonic beasts of the Tier 4 Sea clan who had just dared to come. He didn't see any creatures. Is this a dead zone? Lin Haoyang is not only wondering, if there is no demonic beasts here to survive, then what is the place where these 4 sisters demonic beasts survive? They came here without much influence. Except for a few, the other demonic beasts have almost no influence in such an environment. Okay, don't waste time, open the 8th stage profound crystal tower as soon as possible. Said a mermaid. A bunch of rubbish, hurry up and open the 8th floor, don't hang around on the first 7 floors. Said another demonic beasts who resembled a dragon and a sea clan. Zhao and Long Lin Haoyang have seen them all, but neither are they. This is the first time he has seen him. I heard that this clan is the 7th Order Demon Emperor, but I don't know who is stronger with the Black Dragon clan. Moreover, Lin Haoyang also discovered that the size of these sea clan demonic beasts have been greatly reduced, especially the mermaid, who was almost 10 meters in size before. But now, it is only 2 meters away, not much different from the human race, and the size of other demonic beasts has also shrunk significantly. It seems that the huge pressure of the deep sea does not have an impact on them. Boom. With a soft sound, the spirit power shield arranged by the sword bearer suddenly collapsed, and terrifying pressure instantly flooded Lin Haoyang and others. Lin Haoyang and the others had prepared for a long time. They took out the water-repelling bead and placed it on their bodies. Within 3 meters, the seawater could not get close, and the terrifying pressure was also isolated 3 meters away. Seeing this, the crowd gave a sigh of relief. Okay, let's open the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. The mermaid spoke again and threw a piece of golden sand. Zhao Liang was caught by Zhao Liang on the bottom of the sea, and a huge pagoda appeared in front of everyone. Even in the depths of the sea for 20,000 years, this pagoda is still overflowing with brilliance, and can no longer be hidden under the shining of the golden sands. At first glance, they knew that this pagoda building was the destination of their trip, 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda. Before coming, Lin Haoyang and others knew that the opening of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda required their blood essence, and no matter how many sea clan and their strength, they couldn't do anything with this 8th stage profound crystal tower. Either do not go in, or wait for the 8th stage mysterious tower to be destroyed. The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, neither the human race nor the demonic beasts, would easily abandon it, because they hadn't obtained the most important thing in the 8th stage. If the contents are gone, even if this place is left over from the fairy world, I am afraid no one cares anymore. Without much communication, Lin Haoyang and the other 4 forced a drop of blood essence into a group of blood essence, thinking about a circular slot in front of the 8th stage mysterious tower. Blood essence fell and filled the door. With a heavy, Creak, the dusty door opened again. 69%. Chapter 414. As the gate opened, a large amount of seawater swarmed in. A hole suddenly appeared in the seabed under 10,000 miles. Even Lin Haoyang and other golden cores couldn't resist the impact, and the seawater rushed into the 8th stage mysterious tower. The force of terror, even life's demonic beasts on the bottom of the sea could not resist. At this moment, they were all washed into the 8th stage mysterious tower along with the sea. Because Lin Haoyang and the others were protected from water droplets, this swarming ocean current could not cause them too serious damage, but this sudden change actually disrupted the previous arrangement of Lin Haoyang and the others. According to the previous plan, the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda has a body of fairy light, and the ocean current can't get in at all, and they don't need to be separated. The human race and the sea race enter the 8th stage mysterious tower at a ratio of 4 to 6, and the human race is not dominant. If they are together, the sea race dare not take them. In the event of the ultimate battle, the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda may not be able to hold it. Under the mouse, both parties dare not go too far. Even if they find any treasures, they must be distributed in proportion. At least, the Sea Clan needs Lin Haoyang and others to use blood essence to open the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. The tower is divided into 8 levels. Except for the blood essence, which requires 40 people on the first level, all other levels require only 5 drops of blood essence. Now that the ocean current has dissipated everyone, Lin Haoyang's danger has increased sharply. Who knows that he disappeared and died? In order to reduce the strength of the human race, the Sea Clan will definitely kill him. Lin Haoyang was carried by the ocean current and rushed to the depths of the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, the first floor of the Xuanjing Pagoda. There were originally some buildings. Although it has been swept many times, no one dared to say that there must be no treasures, but at the moment the ocean current rushed, these buildings were all broken and turned into pieces. Looking at the broken building fragments, Lin Haoyang regretted that this time he suffered a great loss. The first floor of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is very wide, and Lin Haoyang was carried by the ocean current and ran for a stick of incense for a time, but he had not yet reached the end. It seems that this immortal magical item should be the same as his colorful thousand cloud cover, with an inner pregnant space. Otherwise, at the speed of the ocean current, he would have rushed out a distance of tens of miles. Even if it is an immortal magical item, it is impossible to build. It is so huge. After a stick of incense, the speed of the ocean current gradually weakened. This is because the air inside has been compressed to the limit, and it has begun to approach the pressure of the ocean current outside. Fortunately, avoiding water droplets can not only be waterproof, but also offset the pressure. Otherwise, in this air, he has almost no choice but to stay in the water. After another half an hour, the ocean current stopped completely and no longer rushed forward. It was obvious that the pressure on both sides reached a balance. Lin Haoyang did not stay anymore, urging spirit power, and with the help of the water bead, he easily left the sea and entered the first floor of the 8th stage mysterious tower. As soon as he stepped in, first a 3-meter shield was propped up by avoiding water drops to block out the terrifying pressure and prevent Lin Haoyang from being harmed. Afterwards, Lin Haoyang felt an extremely pure spirit power. For Lin Haoyang today, the 7th order spirit power was not enough to surprise Lin Haoyang, but the purity of the spirit power here surprised Lin Haoyang. The stronger and purer the spirit power, the faster the cultivator can absorb it. 1 day of cultivation here is probably worth 5 days of cultivation in Bayou Mountain. However, Lin Haoyang didn't have time to stay here to cultivate his goal, but the last 4 floors of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, where things could attract Lin Haoyang's attention. Before coming, Zhao Duanlong and others gave him a map of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda. The farther ahead, the more detailed the map. The first floor recorded a total of 23 passages leading to the second floor. This is also the accumulation of so many years. However, in the past, to open these channels, at least 5 human blood was needed. But now that the sea is flooding, the terrifying pressure may have destroyed the restrictions of those passages. In other words, if you want to go to the second floor, there is no block at all. After recognizing the direction, Lin Haoyang ran towards the nearest passage. At the same time, almost everyone had the same idea as Lin Haoyang. Those who could enter the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda had a map in their hands. After a little inference, they all rushed to the second floor. Even among them, demonic beasts encountered human races, but no battle occurred. The accident happened so suddenly that everyone did not expect it. It is possible that not only the passage leading to the second floor was destroyed, but all the passages leading to the following floors were destroyed. Therefore, the passage to the first few floors may not need the human race's blood essence to open. You don't need blood essence to be turned on, then it is not distributed according to proportion, but whoever gets it. Coupled with the fact that everyone is forced to separate at this moment, who knows that he has gained something, even if he wants to explore them after going out, can he still be able to see them as a little thing? To be honest, for Hidao Cultivator, even if they will not turn their faces and grab them for these things. They only care about the 7th and 8th layers. Even the 7th level things, Hidao will exchange them for things of corresponding value. If they really don't want it, they won't take it forcibly. As for the things on the 8th level, then they shouldn't hold on to the idea of selfishness. Hidao Cultivator will never allow it, because it is related to the future of the human race. Lin Haoyang rushed for about a quarter of an hour and found a passage. Unsurprisingly, the restrictions of this passage had been destroyed by the seawater, which had no effect. At this moment, there was still a large amount of seawater flowing upward from this passage. It became a whirlpool here. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang's eyes condensed, and in the sea, a mermaid appeared. The mermaid was a female. The upper body was a charming beauty, but from the lower abdomen, scales began to grow, where it should have been 2 legs, but it turned into a fish tail covered with purple scales. The fish tail is very long, almost twice the size of its upper body. At this moment, a pair of purple pupils are staring at Lin Haoyang. The news from Zhao Duanlong, the mermaid clan is not weak. There are more powerful monster emperors in the clan, that is to say, this mermaid, like him, has a 7th order strong behind it. More importantly, Lin Haoyang worshipped under the Hidao Cultivator halfway, and his background was incomparable with those disciples who had worshipped under the Hidao Cultivator a long time ago. After all, those cultivators worshipped under Hidao Cultivator in the early years, and they have been taught by Hidao Cultivator, no matter how better they are than Lin Haoyang, who is a halfway monk. The ancestors of the mermaid have the 7th order demon emperor, and their blood is terrifying, and the disciples of these cultivators are not necessarily their opponents. Fortunately, after the mermaid glanced at Lin Haoyang, he rushed directly into the passage with contempt in his eyes. Lin Haoyang is a golden core 6-layer cultivator. Even if he is a disciple of the same way, it is not worthy of her attention. She is a strong person who naturally wants to strive for the greatest benefit. Seeing the mermaid disappear, Lin Haoyang shook his head helplessly. It seemed that the cultivation base was too weak. Not only the human race looked down upon it, but even the monster race looked down upon it. Lin Haoyang's eyes narrowed, and he rushed out abruptly, and also rushed into the passage. 69%. Chapter 415 Auto-generated chapter title. Episode 415. This passage is not long. At this moment, under the impact of the powerful current, the original appearance is no longer visible, only a long passage can be seen. The original restrictions can no longer be seen. After about a dozen breaths, the scenery in front of Lin Haoyang changed, and a desert appeared in front of Lin Haoyang. This desert world has also been swept in by seawater at this moment, and most of the area has been eroded by seawater. When Lin Haoyang arrived, the charming woman of the mermaid clan had disappeared. Lin Haoyang didn't care, just chose a direction and flew away. Now the second layer of seawater has begun to emerge, but because of the excess of the first layer, the second layer is not submerged so quickly. It takes about 3 hours to break through the rune's confinement. During these 3 hours, no one should try to start the third layer. After all, the seawater is inverted, and this second layer will be destroyed sooner or later, and the contents inside must be wiped out. However, maybe someone was lucky enough to find 4 human races, and the 5 people worked together to break the passage to the 3rd floor. In this way, they can be one step ahead of everyone, and they can also get one more chance at the 3rd level of opportunity. However, the 3rd floor must have been searched countless times by everyone. Even if they went to the 3rd floor first, it is normal that there is no gain. Lin Haoyang will definitely not do this. Although a drop of blood essence is nothing to him, if each layer has to be turned on with a drop of blood essence, 8 drops of blood essence will pass. Even for him, it will be a bit difficult. At that time, their vitality and blood declined one by one. How did they fight these demonic beasts? In fact, the passage of the first few floors was broken, which is not necessarily a bad thing for the human race. On the second level of the desert world, Lin Hao sprinted quickly. In a short time, he crossed dozens of miles of land. Among them, he met some Sea Clan demonic beasts and human clan, but the two sides did not fight against each other. Deathmatch. After all, they came here for opportunities and treasures. Now they are seriously injured or even lost their lives without seeing the opportunities and treasures, which is a bit unfair to them. Suddenly, Lin Haoyang and Dantian trembled, and the little golden dragon seemed to be summoned, and quickly regained consciousness. At the same time, he was still very excited like Lin Haoyang. It was the first time he saw such a little golden dragon. Even if he encountered any treasure before, the little golden dragon just sighed that Lin Haoyang was lucky. Master, I seem to feel the breath of Fengmei. Little Jinlong stammered, and it was enough to see how shocked Xiao Jinlong was at the moment. Lin Haoyang frowned. Fengmei. He once heard Xiao Jinlong say that Yuk Shuangling, Xiao Jinlong must rely on dragon veins to restore power. In Shuyang Mountain that year, the little golden dragon secretly absorbed some dragon vein energy, restored some strength, and stabilized the dragon spirit. But Feng Ling was more injured than it was. Without Feng Mai's help, it was basically impossible for Feng Ling to wake up. The battle that year was too intense. Even they were all knocked apart, and the human race had to stay away from their own homeland and wander to this planet. If Feng Ling could wake up, it would be of great help to Lin Haoyang. You know, Feng Ling specializes in instructing people in cultivation. Lin Haoyang suppressed the joy in his heart, calmed down and asked. You feel Fengmei, where is he? This place should be an immortal magical item, and this immortal magical item is motivated by a phoenix vein to provide spirit power. Fengmei is on the 8th floor of this tower, where is the central core of this fairy Dao magical item, but where you want to go, given the master's current strength, I am afraid it is still a bit difficult. Little Jinlong frowned. Lin Haoyang was shocked. It seemed that the 8th stage of the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda was going up anyway. Now that the sea is flooding, Lin Haoyang doesn't know if the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda can be opened next time. But even if it can be turned on next time, it has no meaning for Lin Haoyang. After going out this time, I am afraid it will not be long before he can hit nascent soul realm. By then, this golden core secret realm has nothing to do with him. More importantly, Feng Ling's awakening is related to his cultivation, so Lin Haoyang will do everything possible to reach the 8th floor. Even if he couldn't find any magical item, he must find Fengmei. Xiaojin, do you have a way to enter the 8th floor? Lin Haoyang asked. The little golden dragon shook his head. The 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is the magical item of immortality. Although it has been silent in the deep sea for 20,000 years, the damage is not significant. But even the little golden dragon in the period of complete victory, I am afraid it would be difficult to shake this 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, because the Jade K was not used for combat and its combat power was not strong. No, this tower is a magical item of immortal Dao after all, I can't do anything with it. But I can find some weak spots, then it will be fine. Xiao Jinlong said. Hearing this, Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up, and if he could find the weak point, that was an opportunity. Even if he couldn't break through the 8th layer, then he would find a helper. The Terran can't do it, isn't there? A demonic beasts from the Sea Clan. Their strength is stronger than the human race here. After thinking about it for a while, it's definitely feasible at this time. After the seawater flooded this time, the place was basically abandoned, and the value was already 8. The two clans will basically not send any more people in. The 8th stage black crystal pagoda is already in an extremely unstable state. If they mess around again, if one fails, the 8th stage black crystal pagoda may completely collapse. Xiaojin, don't care about it in advance, you have to take a look, is there any baby here? Lin Haoyang suddenly changed the subject and said with eyes full of light. Seeing Xiaojin still a little reluctant, Lin Haoyang continued to flicker. Look at me, it's only the 6th floor of Golden Core. The people here, that's not the 9th floor of Golden Core. You said, if I don't have the strength of ascension now, even if I find Fengmei, do you think I can grab them? If Feng Mai is discovered at that time, but a group of outsiders and even demonic beasts are in the fight, what do you say? Hearing that Feng Mai might be battled by other people and demonic beasts, the little golden dragon suddenly became anxious. He turned around and rushed out of Lin Haoyang's Dantian, and began to observe the surroundings. After watching for a while, Xiao Jinlong paused towards the southeast and said. There should be a treasure in the southeast, metallic, which matches you fairly. If you refine it, you should be able to increase your affinity for metallic spirit power. By then, the absorption of metallic spirit power can be ascension possible. About 30%. Lin Haoyang frowned when he heard 30%, isn't it too little? Seeing Lin Haoyang's appearance, Xiao Jinlong suddenly cursed. 30%, do you know what 30% means? Just like you have 3 spiritual roots qualifications, but if you refine that spiritual thing, your cultivation speed is even comparable to the second spiritual roots cultivator. Of course, the environment of cultivation is the same. Quote. Lin Haoyang understood this analogy of Xiao Jinlong, but he underestimated 30%. Yes, 30%. A lot, which saved him a lot of time for promotion. If you add the Xuantuo profound art, I am afraid that some strange spiritual roots cultivator will not be able to compare with him. Ha ha ha, I'm here for the treasure. With a cheer, Lin Haoyang shot away to the southeast. 70%. Chapter 416. In addition to Lin Haoyang, there was also a figure rushing in that direction. It seemed that he was not the only one who found the treasure. A quarter of an hour later, Lin Haoyang rushed to the area mentioned by Xiao Jinlong. As soon as he got there, Lin Haoyang felt something was wrong. This desert seemed to be different from the previous ones. Lin Haoyang majored in metallic spiritual roots, and was very sensitive to the feeling of metal. Once he got here, he noticed something was wrong. This desert doesn't seem to be sand. The probe grabbed it, and a handful of sand flew into Lin Haoyang's hand. When the sand started, Lin Haoyang felt heavier. What kind of sand is this thing? Lin Haoyang didn't know those places before, but the desert here was all a metal desert. Lin Haoyang frowned. These metal sand particles have reached the 3rd level, and the price is not small. They can be used to refine magical item. If you can bring back all the metal desert, I am afraid its value will be in millions of spirit stones or even more. However, there are too many metal sand particles, unless the colorful thousand clouds cover is fully opened, otherwise it is impossible to bring them back. Regrettably, Lin Haoyang did not rush to collect these metal sands. Little Golden Dragon said that there should be treasures here, and it is definitely not these metal sands that can enter the eyes of Little Golden Dragon. This place is so unusual, it seems that there is really a treasure here. Human race, get out of here. I have taken over here. Just as Lin Haoyang was stunned, an angry scold came from behind. Lin Haoyang's face sank and turned around to see that a huge crab was standing behind him. The crab is 5 meters in size, and 2 large tongs stand in the air, which is extremely conspicuous. In addition, there is also a bronze carapace, which at first glance is a very strong defensive race. Lin Haoyang was a little surprised. As soon as he found this place, the bronze crab chased him. Could it be that he chased behind him one by one, trying to pick peaches? What do you look at? I have taken this area. Has the human race fallen like this now? Even the 6th floor of the Golden Core has been sent out. The bronze crab looked at the metal sand desert behind Lin Haoyang, his eyes were fiery. He really didn't follow Lin Haoyang. Their clan was extremely sensitive to metal, and swallowing metal was also a way to strengthen themselves. Relying on his natural and super strong perception of metal, he felt this place for the first time, but he didn't expect that someone would get on the ground first, and he was still a Golden Core 6-layer scum. If it were those human geniuses on the 9th level of Golden Core, he would still be a little bit afraid, but for Lin Haoyang, he didn't show any fear at all. The bronze crab family is not weak, otherwise it would not be allowed to participate in this operation. Roll. Lin Haoyang is too lazy to talk nonsense. He still wants to use heavenly and mortal treasures ascension here to have his affinity for spirit power. What kind of chaos are you here? The bronze crab also saw that Lin Haoyang didn't want to give up this place. That being the case, if you killed Lin Haoyang, you can't blame him. The bronze crab showed disdain in his eyes. Moving his 8 legs together, he killed Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang's complexion gradually became serious when the bronze crab was killed. This was the first time he had learned about the demonic beasts of the Shanghai clan and the methods of the Sea clan. Moreover, this bronze crab didn't seem to be a character to provoke. However, it does not mean that Lin Haoyang was really afraid of this bronze crab. Zhen Yu took it down and Lin Haoyang immediately faced the bronze crab's double tongs. Bump, 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 dot. Lin Haoyang's collision with the bronze crab was a forceful collision, and there was no other trick at all. The bronze crab had no other means. All attacks relied on the huge pair of tongs, and even his talent and supernatural powers relied on the huge pair of tongs. Lin Haoyang became more and more frightened as he fought. The Sea clan demonic beasts were really terrifying. They were 3 points better than the land demonic beasts. Because of the pressure of the deep sea, the carapace of the bronze crab is very hard. Although the bronze crab only has the strength of the Tier 4 peak, his defense is not comparable to some Tier 5 demonic beasts. It is difficult for Lin Haoyang's Junyu to break through the defense of the bronze crab, but fortunately, Lin Haoyang is not good at sharpness. The pressure of more than 100,000 catties also made the bronze crab very uncomfortable. After another violent fight with a stick of incense, the two of them each stepped back, and Lin Haoyang's arms were chopped and he was shaken by the force. The bronze crab was also uncomfortable, and Lin Haoyang kept slashing his right tongs, and at this moment there was also a crack running through it up and down. There was no contempt in the eyes of the bronze crab, and his face was solemn. It was the first time he saw human race with such a terrifying body and power. Don't think about it, he now knew that Lin Haoyang came from the line of Ji Lingxi. Only the cultivator in the line of Ji Lingxi has such a physical body. Human, I underestimated you. I admit that you do have some abilities. I paid some price. How about you letting it out? Bronze crab said. Lin Haoyang furrowed his brows. Even though he had no means to do everything right now, it was not a simple matter for the bronze crab to take him down. At this time, the bronze crab still wants to occupy this place. It seems that there must be a treasure under this desert. Otherwise, the bronze crab does not need to be so adventurous. No, I have it here, I don't want to die. Just get out of here. For demonic beasts, Lin Haoyang didn't have a good feeling in his heart. Now the bronze crab still wants to grab his chance, of course he is not in a good mood. Bronze crab's complexion changed for a while, and it seems that he can't be kind today. When he opened his mouth, a fist-sized inner alchemy emerged, and he was about to call Lin Haoyang. Although this inner alchemy is only the size of a fist, it gives Lin Haoyang the feeling that it is indeed extremely dangerous. This strike is probably no less than the full blow of 2 golden core 9-layer cultivators. In Lin Haoyang's current state, if he insists on resisting this strike, he will inevitably fall into a disadvantage. Lin Haoyang's eyebrows flashed, and a black thread emerged and shot straight to the bronze crab's eyebrows. This black thread is the gathering of divine sense. The speed is so fast, almost just an instant, it has reached the eyebrows of the bronze crab. Before the inner alchemy was spit out, the bronze crab felt a dizziness and tingling from the sea of consciousness first, and Sheng interrupted all the movements of wanting to play the inner alchemy. Bronze crab's complexion changed wildly, his defense on the flesh was extremely strong, but divine sense was only an ordinary tier 4 top grade, and Lin Haoyang's divine sense had reached the limit of golden core. The black thread invaded his sea of consciousness, and he immediately felt that the sea of own consciousness was shaking violently, and the link between divine sense and Niden was severely severed. The moment when the black silk thread was hit, Lin Haoyang had already launched a violent foot attack. When the bronze crab divine sense was in chaos, Lin Haoyang had already come to the bronze crab. In the fight, a momentary loss of consciousness is a fatal threat. Lin Haoyang seized this opportunity very well. The sky front exploded and cut off with a sword. The sharp blade directly cut off the bronze crab's right pliers that was about to break, and then the blade turned and cut straight to the bronze crab's head. The pain of the tongs made the bronze crab recover from the confusion of divine sense, and then saw Lin Haoyang cut a shoulder. At this distance, hiding is definitely inevitable, and can only resist hard. The 8 legs of the bronze crab slammed hard, twisting his body weirdly, causing Lin Haoyang to avoid his head and cut into his body with a single sword. Tianfeng cut open the carapace and most of the flesh and blood. The strongest defense of the bronze crab was a pair of crab claws. The carapace alone could not stop Tianfeng's sword. The bronze crab was hit hard, Lin Haoyang refused to give a chance, and attacked one after another. After another stick of incense, Junyu slashed into the bronze crab's head, shattering his sea of consciousness and letting him die completely. Lin Haoyang recovered briefly, then put away the body of the bronze crab and plunged one end into the metal desert. At this moment, what attracts Lin Haoyang most is the treasure hidden here. 70%. Chapter 417. Lin Haoyang rushed into the desert, separated the metal sand particles with spirit power, and went straight to the ground. After a few breaths, Lin Haoyang had already penetrated 100 meters underground, and the distance of 100 meters was full of metal sand. 300 meters underground, it is still. At this depth, Lin Haoyang was also shocked. How deep is this metal desert? The 8th stage mysterious tower is not a real ground, there must be a limit. When Lin Haoyang came to 500 meters underground, Lin Haoyang's speed slowed down, and the surrounding metal increased his rejection. carefully sensed that these metals are no longer third order, and even surpassed fourth order, reaching the fifth order level. Lin Haoyang frowned. The value of tier 5 metal is already great. If it can be taken out, its value is great. But it was 500 meters deep here, and it was impossible for Lin Haoyang to collect these metal sand particles. Under such pressure, he couldn't open the storage bag at all, so he could only load some with the colorful 1000 cloud cover. However, the 7-color 1000 clouds cover is not big, and it can't carry too much. Moreover, Lin Haoyang hasn't found the treasure yet. If it causes a major change in this place, it will be more than a loss. No longer looking at those tier 5 metallic sand particles, after more than 10 breaths, Lin Haoyang moved forward again for 100 meters, and suddenly the metallic spirit power in front of him became extremely rich. Lin Haoyang's face was happy. This metallic spirit power was different from the previous ones, and he was more intimate with him. The metallic spirit power in his body resonated with it instinctively. It's not bad, that thing is just ahead. Little Jinlong opened his mouth again. Lin Haoyang nodded. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This time you can't run. Holding on to the spirit power shield, Lin Haoyang continued to walk forward. This time, Lin Haoyang followed the special metallic aura and walked only more than 10 meters, when a golden stone suddenly appeared in front of him, the size of his head. Lin Haoyang walked more than 500 meters, except for the metal sand. This was the first time he saw a complete piece of object. It's this thing. I forgot the name before. Now I see things. I remember. Chen Zijin. Xiao Jinlong said in shock. Obviously, he didn't expect that something like Chengxi Jin would appear here. Chengxi Jin Lin Haoyang had also heard of it, and it was considered a refining material. You can use it to refine some auxiliary magical items, such as futons, prayer beads and other treasures. These things are not very powerful, but they play a big role in helping people in cultivation and enlightenment. Chengxi Jin is to help people cultivate. With Chengxi Jin, Lin Haoyang's speed in refining spiritual qi can increase by 30%. With this 30%, when the fairy tomb is opened, his cultivation base can definitely reach the realm of nascent soul, and his strength in nascent soul is not low. Lin Haoyang rolled his hand, and a colorful breath flowed, enveloping the whole piece of dawn gold, but in an instant, dawn gold disappeared, and when it reappeared, it was already in the colorful cloud cover. After receiving the dawn gold, the surrounding metal sand particles quickly gathered to fill this small space. Without this dawn gold, the value of this desert is still great, but it cannot move Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang stopped when he tried to collect the fifth order metal sand particles. The more metal sand particles he removed, the faster the flow between the sand particles, the greater the pressure, and Lin Haoyang's limit was one side. Lin Haoyang is also not greedy. This time he received this morning gold, the harvest was not small. Moreover, there is also a tier 4 top-grade demonic beast's corpse. He has made a lot of money this time. As for the injuries on his body, after a good fortune orb, he has almost recovered. Lin Haoyang was able to triumph so easily, firstly because he was caught off guard by using soul concentration, and secondly, because the bronze crab itself underestimated the enemy, and his divine sense was not strong, he was defeated sadly. When he escaped from the ground, seawater had already rushed to the vicinity. Obviously, the second floor had been invaded by seawater, relying on avoiding water droplets to break out a path to the nearest second and third floor passages. Except for Lin Haoyang, there are not many people staying on the second floor. The second floor has been searched a few times before, and there is little hope of finding good things. If Lin Haoyang were not the little golden dragon, it would be impossible to find Chengxi Jin. Such a large metal desert, golden core divine sense could not penetrate the metal sand at such a depth. Lin Haoyang relied on the little golden dragon, while the bronze crab relied on his own talent, and he was born with a sense of metal. Not all bronze crabs have this talent for bronze crabs. It was obtained from their upgrades. Demonic beasts of the Sea Clan entered the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda this time and paid great attention to it. If it weren't for the ocean current, the bronze crab would have been protected by the sea race demonic beasts. No one would have thought that the ocean current suddenly rushed into the 8th stage Xuanjing Tower, and all plans were disrupted. Even worse, the backmen of the sea race demonic beasts died so easily in the hands of Lin Haoyang. At the moment the bronze crab died, 6 demonic beasts of the Sea Clan changed wildly and their complexions were extremely gloomy. The mermaid girl Lin Haoyang had seen before was one of them. Lin Haoyang didn't know all of this. After half an hour, Lin Haoyang rushed out of the passage and came to the 3rd floor. The 3rd layer of the world is green, but a primeval forest. Lin Haoyang sighed in his heart. This 8th stage profound crystal pagoda is worthy of being a magical item of immortal Tao. After more than 20,000 years, the vegetation here is still well preserved. From this point, it can be seen that the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda can also store living creatures, and even form a realm of its own. Its effect is countless times stronger than the 7-colored thousand cloud cover. When Lin Haoyang felt the 3rd floor, seawater had already started to pour into the 3rd floor, and many wild beasts in the forest fled. However, no matter how they escaped, there is absolutely no possibility of survival now. Lin Haoyang is not a virgin, and it is impossible for him to save the 3rd world. Xiaojin, come out and take a look. Is there any baby in this 3rd world? Lin Haoyang asked. Xiaojin flew out of Lin Haoyang's dantian again, and shook his head after feeling carefully, and said, the search on this floor feels that there are some remnants of little value, but some tier 4 things. Lin Haoyang showed disappointment on his face. It seemed that luck couldn't be as good as one. After all, the first 4 floors were basically searched countless times, and it is normal to have none. As for those tier 4 treasures, with Lin Haoyang's current vision, he really doesn't like it, so it's better to go to the 4th floor earlier. According to Lin Haoyang's speculation, starting from the 4th level, the human race's blood essence must be used to open the passage. Therefore, the 4th level is the beginning of the dispute between the 2 groups of monsters. Lin Haoyang did not stop, and went straight to the nearest passage according to the map provided by Zhao Duanlong. After another half an hour, Lin Haoyang appeared on the 4th floor with 4 floors. The 4th floor was completely opposite to the 3rd floor. There was only one volcano here, and there was no vitality. Countless magma is surging, only a few empty islands are in the air. Looking from a distance, those empty islands have human shadows and the shadow of demonic beasts. It seems that they are discussing the opening of the 5th floor, or perhaps, they are found on the 4th floor. Something stopped everyone. Now that the situation is unknown, Lin Haoyang did not show up easily. He wanted to see what tricks the 2 parties were playing. After all, there are more other races than he is, and he is less than a lot. 70%. Chapter 418 Magma World. The human race and the sea race demonic beasts each occupy a floating island, but at this moment, the 2 sides are not fully manned. There are about 30 human races and about 40 sea races, and they still have the advantage. On the human race side, most of the powerful characters such as Broken Sword are present, and they can make them pay so much attention. It seems that the treasures here are definitely not simple. Human race, break the 5th floor, you can't intervene in the 4th floor, and we don't intervene in the 5th floor, how about? A dragon Zhao said. The 5th floor, how about we open the 5th floor for you, and you go to the 5th floor by yourself? Said a red-robed man. The red-robed man had fiery eyes, staring at the Sea Clan for a while, and staring at a huge volcano not far away. Obviously, there was something incredible inside that attracted him. Qishao, what is inside the volcano? We don't know what you feel. A 6th-rank sect Golden Core asked. Kai Xiao was a man in a red robe. When asked by this at the moment, he knew that if he didn't say it, it would be hard for everyone to believe him. Everyone, if I'm right, under that volcano, there may be the core of the earth. Kai Xiao said with a frantic expression. Everyone's complexion changed wildly upon hearing the 3 characters of the heart of the earth. The marrow of the earth, that is a treasure that can help promote the god of transformation. Everyone here is a genius among geniuses. Nascent soul is basically a certainty. Even if there are gods and Hidao behind them, it is not so simple to want to become gods. And the core of the earth, if they can reach the 6th level, then when they break through the gods, they can increase their chances of success by 30%. 30%, seemingly low, is what everyone wants to know. Breakthrough, the general success rate is less than 50%, basically with a success rate of more than 50%, nascent soul 9-layer cultivator will try to break through. For the 2 people around Lin Haoyang, Duan Hong couldn't pass Heart's Demon because of his own hard knot, and couldn't break through. Zuo Qianji's cultivation base has also reached the 9th level of nascent soul. Even with Zuo Qianji's talent, the chance of breakthrough success is less than 50%. This is why Zuo Qianji has arrived at Realm and he has not dared to make breakthrough. If Zuo Qianji has the heart of the earth, I'm afraid he can't wait for the closed-door training to hit the gods right away. This is why everyone hears the heart of the earth, and the reason is so gloomy. Not only the humans were surprised, the demonic beasts also sensed the existence of the core of the earth. Among the seas, demonic beasts, a kind of life in the underground volcano, were also very sensitive to this. Although Lin Haoyang didn't feel it up close, with the help of Xiao Jinlong's perception, he also knew what was in the volcano. There is the heart of the earth here, and it seems that the two sides are inevitable from a battle. Since both parties don't want to retreat, then do their best, and collect the soul of the earth if you have the greatest chance, said the mermaid woman. Yes, said the strong man on the human side. After all, both sides stopped talking. They seemed to be waiting for an opportunity, a time to enter the volcano. During this period, the human races and sea races continued to come, and the numbers of the two sides gradually approached the limit. Lin Haoyang didn't hide anymore. Knowing the purpose of both sides, it's better to act together. After landing on the empty island and saying hello to everyone, Lin Haoyang found a place to stand on his own, and didn't talk too much to others. At this moment, even Sun Ning and Yang Bin did not come to get close. This is not the time. After waiting for almost an hour, a total of 38 people from the human race came, and 2 others were gone. These 2 people are either still staying in the lower 3 floors or are killed. Of course, the possibility of death is higher. On the side of the Sea clan, only 57th, and 3 demonic beasts have disappeared. The most important thing is, logically speaking, the losses of both parties were similar, but the Sea clan's face was low, and the death of the bronze crab completely disrupted their pace. Suddenly, a humanoid demonic beast in the Sea clan opened his eyes and stared at Lin Haoyang as if he were looking at a dead person. Lin Haoyang's heart burst. Strong. Very strong. The humanoid demonic beasts among the Sea clan definitely have the power to kill nascent soul. Could it be that the fact that he killed the bronze crab has been discovered? However, it doesn't matter. The conflict between the two parties will happen sooner or later, and Lin Haoyang is not afraid. Yan, do you suspect that it was the bronze crab that was killed by the human race? He is only the cultivation base on the 6th floor of the Golden Core. How could it be possible? The mermaid woman asked, with an incredible face on her face. Humans like to pretend to be pigs and eat tigers. I felt a trace of bronze crab breath in him. It is 80% possible that the bronze crab died in his hands. Transformed demonic beast said. At the same time, many demonic beasts of the Sea clan were surprised. They looked down on Lin Haoyang. In their eyes, Lin Haoyang was nothing more than a rubbish. The most shocked was the mermaid woman. She met Lin Haoyang at first, but she just glanced at each other and didn't negotiate too much, but she didn't expect Lin Haoyang to have such strength. Although the bronze crab is not very strong, she has a great defensive power. Even if she wants to break through the bronze crab's defense, it will take a lot of effort and even be injured. However, she did not find any injuries on Lin Haoyang. Either Lin Haoyang's strength directly crushed the bronze crab, or Lin Haoyang joined forces to kill the bronze crab. However, it now appears that it is very likely that Lin Haoyang killed him alone. So, Lin Haoyang has been hiding himself. The mermaid's eyes were full of anger, not only because Lin Haoyang killed the important bronze crab, but also deceived her. To know this, when she met Lin Haoyang, she should have killed Lin Haoyang. Although he knew that Lin Haoyang had hidden his strength, the mermaid was still sure to kill Lin Haoyang. This was strength and confidence. The mermaid girl, when facing the 5th order demonic beasts, also beheaded them. However, in the magma world, the pressure of mermaids is too great, and they are naturally restrained by the fire attribute spirit power. Here, at most, they can only use 70% of their strength. Except for some natural sea races with water and fire attributes, other sea races will be suppressed here to some extent, and most of them can only spend 70% to 80% of their strength. Human race here, although it will also be suppressed, but not so serious, suppressed, it can probably give out 80 to 90% of the strength. At this moment, Lin Haoyang's skin appeared flame lines, restraining the high temperature in this place. So far, the suppression of Lin Haoyang by this place has become minimal. Boom! Just when everyone was waiting in a tight array, a loud noise came out, and a huge fire light rose into the sky. The volcano erupted. Large amounts of magma turned into meteorites, falling from the sky. The power of the volcanic eruption caused Lin Haoyang and the others to tremble wildly, and then each ran the spirit power to avoid the meteorites that fell from the sky. It is close to Beidao Lingguang, and constantly dodges in the air. With the eruption of the volcano, this earth fire spirit power becomes more concentrated, further weakening the strength of everyone. But that Kai Xiao, in such an environment, is more like a fish in water. Everyone, after the eruption of the volcano is finished, there will be a gap period, and then it will be when I wait to enter the volcano and seize the core of the earth. Equator Road. After waiting for an hour, the volcano went out. The time has come, let's go. After saying that, Kai Xiao rushed to the volcano first. The others moved their eyes and followed each other. After hesitating for a while, the Sea Clan also went straight to the crater. 70%. Chapter 419 Magma Giant. The closer you are to the volcano, the higher the temperature, but everyone is already at the top of the golden core, propping up a spirit power shield, and the high temperature will not help them. It is a pity that avoiding water droplets can only break through the high pressure of seawater and air, and is not strong against these flames. After a few breaths, Lin Haoyang and others came to the crater, because before a large amount of magma spewed out, there was not much magma in the crater at this moment. Taking advantage of this time, Lin Haoyang and others went straight to the crater. Lin Haoyang jumped down, his spirit power surged, resisting the terrifying high temperature in the crater, but the impact was not too great. The best thing is Kai Xiao. He specializes in the cultivation technique of the fire system. In this place, the cultivation base's strength will not be suppressed, but will be enhanced. In this place, even if the sword is broken, he is not completely sure to kill Kai Xiao. Behind Lin Haoyang and the others is the Sea Tribe's army. They can't mobilize spirit power like Lin Haoyang and others to form a spirit power shield. They can only put the inner alchemy in the front to relieve the high temperature pressure and follow them all the way down. Here, the suppression of the marine clan is too great, and the group of life in the sea, coming to such a place, the strength is too limited. After more than 10 breaths of time, Lin Haoyang and others came to the volcano and entered a huge underground cave. Here, there are only countless magma, bright red magma, illuminating the entire cave. Lin Haoyang and the others were cautious, but did not dare to slow down. The Sea Clan behind them chased wildly. The one rushing in the forefront was Kai Xiao. At this moment, he had turned into a flame, fleeing directly from his eyes. The speed was extremely fast, and Lin Haoyang and the others were thrown away. Lin Haoyang was shocked. He didn't expect that Kai Xiao's strength would increase to such an extent that even the group of broken swords could only belong to the second batch, and Lin Haoyang and others belonged to the third batch. After that, there is the fourth batch of the humanoid demonic beasts and the top 5 demonic beasts, and the next demonic beasts is the fifth batch. With the delay of time, the crater was closed again by magma, but there was no magma coming from the underground magma time. It seems that this has always been the case here. Qishao, fellow Taoist, how far is the core of the earth? Someone was anxious and began to ask. Lin Haoyang didn't wrinkle tightly. According to Xiao Jinlong's estimation, the marrow of the earth was not far away, but it seemed to take a lot of effort to get the marrow of the earth. Everyone, the core of the earth is not far ahead, but it seems a bit difficult to get the core of the earth. Kai Xiao smiled bitterly. What do you say? Hu Ling asked. Hu Ling is a disciple of the Hedao cultivator, and his own strength is extremely strong. Kai Xiao does not hide it, saying, "This is not my first discovery. I once got some news that the volcano here contains the marrow of the earth. Obviously, this is not the first time we have come here, but the essence of the earth still stays here. What does this mean? Everyone should be clear." Quote. Hu Ling's expression changed, and she naturally understood what Kai Xiao's words meant. The essence of this place should be very difficult to get, otherwise, they would have lost their share long ago. However, the treasure is right in front of them. If you don't try it, no one will give up. It is a treasure that can help them advance to the gods. Even if you are a cultivator, you can only rely on luck to find this thing, but compared to other people, the chances are much higher. No one spoke anymore, and each followed Kai Xiao and ran to the other side of the magma world. As he walked away, Lin Haoyang became more frightened. This immortal magical item is really too big. Such a huge volcano can be installed. Finally, after running for about a quarter of an hour, Kai Xiao at the forefront finally stopped, but the desire in his eyes became more intense. Afterwards, everyone from the human race and the sea race stopped not far away. The temperature of this magma world has reached 1,000 degrees Celsius. On the human race side, apart from Kai Xiao, there are 2 people who have not turned on the spirit power shield. On the marine side, a white worm and a white krill did not release their own inner alchemy. It seems that the high temperature here will not have much impact on them. Originally, if Tier 4 demonic beasts had no flying talent, it would be impossible to fly, and so was the sea race demonic beasts. But in order to cope with the current situation, Before entering the 8th stage profound crystal pagoda, the 7th order demonic beasts of the Sea Clan gave these 4th order demonic beasts a talented supernatural power, allowing them to fly away at the 4th order time. Because it was a talented supernatural power developed by the 7th order demon emperor, the delivery was not slow. Although it lags behind Lin Haoyang and the others, it is not far away. Everyone, the core of the earth is in front, but if you want to get the core of the earth, you have to go through some obstacles. Kai Xiao continued. Qi Xiao, fellow Taoist, if you want to be straightforward, as long as I can wait for half of them, I will help myself. The monster clan sighed, I don't want to run for nothing. Said a man in a robe. The man in the Taoist robe is the disciple of Kun Yuanzi, his name is Guan Feng. The status is not low, and opening up at this moment naturally has some effect. Upon hearing this, the Sea Clan monsters first looked down, but soon smiled again, and the mermaid said, in this situation, it is natural to cooperate. After discovering the core of the earth, according to the previous rules, shouldn't it be 4 or 6 points? Listening to this, Kai Xiao's face turned dark. If he scores 4 or 6 points, he won't get too much. If the number is too small, it may not help him that much. No, I found out that I brought you here again, and only I know how to get it. If I really want the marrow of the earth, then I will have 20% of it alone, and the rest, you yourself divide again, I won't stop it. Kai Xiao said. As soon as this statement came out, everyone including the Sea Clan demonic beasts, their complexion changed, and Kai Xiao walked 20% by one person, so they would get less. Especially for the Sea Clan, if according to Qi Xiao's division method, then the Sea Clan must give up a lot of benefits. Ha, a human, thinking we really can't do without you. The white worm scolded. He is very adaptable to this place, he can show 95% of his strength, and the pressure is not too strong. Moreover, he is naturally close to the fire element. If he is outside the volcano, he still can't clearly feel the marrow of the earth, but he has already arrived here, and he has already felt the marrow of the earth. After all, the white worm urges the talented magical power to go deep into the magma, where is the core of the earth. Seeing the white worm rushing over, Kai Xiao just smiled. If the earth marrow is so easy to obtain, how can it be kept for now? Lin Haoyang also sensed the exact location of the marrow of the earth, and did not move rashly. He felt that there was something wrong with the magma. Just as Lin Haoyang was in a trance, the white worm that rushed into the magma suddenly rushed out of the magma, behind him, followed by 3 magma giants. Each of these magma giants was more than 20 meters long, and the white worms were all deformed with one punch, and a large amount of white juice was beaten out. Seeing this scene, everyone looked mad, and only Kai Xiao smiled. Obviously, he had expected this scene long ago. 70%. Chapter 420 Sword C. 3 nascent soul-powerful magma giants beat the white worms wildly, and in a short while, the white worms were already severely injured. Although the white worm was beaten madly by the 3 major magma giants, it still hasn't died at the moment. It can be seen that the white worm is not a simple one. Seeing that the white worm was really going to be killed, the Sea Clan side suddenly rushed out 3 demonic beasts, a mermaid, a dragon flood, and a magic shark, and each greeted a magma giant. The 3 demonic beasts were extremely powerful and immediately stopped the 3 magma giants. The white worm found an opportunity and immediately fled back to the demonic beasts group. The white worm returned, and the humanoid demonic beast snorted coldly, but a drop of water still popped out, which fell on the white worm, and the white worm's injury quickly recovered. Although the injury recovered, the state of the white worm did not recover. This battle had caused him to be injured. If it weren't for the help of 3 demonic beasts, he would die today. Lin Haoyang and the others did not act rashly. The 3 demonic beasts fought against the magma giants, and they faintly meant to fight. This surprised Lin Haoyang and the others. The strength of the Sea Clan was far beyond his imagination. Not only Lin Haoyang, Dadao, Guanfeng, Kuling and others all looked gloomy, and the strength of the Sea Clan shocked them. Go on, settle the battle quickly. The humanoid demonic beasts looked gloomy and ordered behind him. As soon as the humanoid demonic beast's voice fell, 3 Tier 4 demonic beasts shot out behind him. Under the siege of 6 demonic beasts, the 3-headed magma giants were powerful, but they couldn't hold back the sea people. Soon, the 3-headed magma giant was blasted and the Terran cultivator changed color. Although there are people who can kill nascent soul in the human race, the battle will never be so easy. The broken blade once killed a nascent soul cultivator, but that time, he was also seriously injured and almost destroyed Dao Ji, far from it. Demonic beasts is easy on the side. While everyone was stunned, the humanoid demonic beasts looked at Kai Xiao and said, "Okay, we agree to your request. You account for 20%, humans account for 30%, and seas account for 50%. Is this feasible?" The appearance of 3 Tier 5 magma giants made the Sea Clan regress. This place is evil, and the magma giant is even more difficult to deal with. If Kai Xiao is unwilling to take action, they may only be able to look at the core of the earth. Seeing that the Sea Clan had agreed to On's request, Kai Xiao's face was overjoyed, and then he looked at a man in the human clan in a robe. The man in the Taoist robe didn't say much from the beginning, and was very quiet, but for him, everyone had a trace of fear, and no one approached him within 3 steps. Lin Haoyang's expression moved. This man in robes was the disciple of the sword bearer. For this trip to the 8th stage Xuanjing Pagoda, I heard that he had been suppressing the Golden Core realm for 20 years. In the past 20 years, cultivation base has not made progress and has already reached the Golden Core limit. For 20 years, I have been comprehending Kendo. I heard that he is the 3 people who have the deepest understanding of Kendo among the sword holders. Because he is obsessed with swords, his name is Jian Shu. In other words, when the sword bearer retreats, he has a high chance of inheriting the position of the sword bearer. This is also the reason why everyone is jealous of him. No, Kai Xiao takes 20%. We are 4 or 4, otherwise, this trip to the 8th stage Profound Crystal Pagoda will end here. Jian Shu said. Listening to this, the humanoid demonic beasts was angry and scolded. Are you threatening me? Whatever you think, the heart of this place is not worth our risk. Jian Shu said calmly. The humanoid demonic beasts was confronted in this way for the first time. He was the true king of the Sea Clan. Even if it was the 5 clan of Mermaid, he could not giving face, but the virtual sword really annoyed him. But the most annoying at the moment was Kai Xiao. He didn't expect Jian Shu's attitude to be so tough. He would rather give up the essence of the earth than lose his share. If he does this, his plan is likely to be yellow. If Jian Shu really took people away, not to mention that he was suspected of betraying the human race, he would not dare. The humanoid demonic beast's eyes flashed with blood red, and a 9-headed giant appeared behind the humanoid demonic beasts. Xiangliu and Longfang belong to the family of gods and demons. Yan has the bloodline of Xiangliu. It should be the same as the mermaid. The highest point of achievement is the 7th Order Demon Emperor. They are also descendants of the 7th Order Demon Emperor. But the Yan group is different. In their clan, it is indeed a 9-headed willow, but this god and demon was seriously injured and his bloodline fell. In the end, his clan couldn't break through the 8th stage, and could only stay at the 7th stage peak. The 7th Order peak bloodline is enough to suppress the bloodlines of other 7th Order monster emperors. This is why the other 5 emperors such as the mermaid want to respect the Lu family as king. Today, the strongest of the Xiangliu clan is the strength of the 7th tier peak. This is also the reason why the Sea Clan demonic beasts are not afraid of the human race. 55 open. The humanoid demonic beast swung 9 behind him. Some demonic beasts couldn't hold back the blood pressure and gradually receded. On the Terran side, the sword emptiness was unwilling to show weakness, and the swords trembled lightly behind him. Sword ray flashed and turned into a sea of sword ray. Numerous kendo phantoms lay across the sky, touching the humanoid demonic beasts on a par. When Lin Haoyang saw Jian Shu and Yan's methods, he secretly cursed, "Are these 2 still human? This strength, I am afraid it has reached the 3-tier realm of nascent soul. If you can't make up for nascent soul, I'm afraid the cultivator on the 4th floor of nascent soul is not your 2 opponents. You are so strong, making us uncomfortable, okay." Standing between the 2 sides, Kai Xiao could only mobilize spirit power to offset the magical nature of Xianglu and the boundless sword chi of the Sword Sea. After a stick of incense, the 2 did not decide the outcome. Yan dispersed to Xianglu Ziying behind him, and Jian Shu also dispersed to Jian Hai behind him. Ha ha ha, human race can be like you. What does it matter if my sea race is 10% more, just as you said, 2 or 4 points? Yan said with a smile. In response, Jian Shu just nodded and didn't say much. Yan aside, the mermaid and other strong men were a little anxious. They just wanted to say something, but they were stopped by Yan and said, "She is very strong. It is not worthwhile to offend such a strong human race for this point of earth spirit." The mermaid and other demons were also shocked. They had also seen the previous duel, but now Yan admitted personally that they were even more shocked. Because in the Sea Clan, no one of the same rank as Yan's opponent, even if they join forces, they can only fight a tie. If you want to kill him, you will need a few people to bury him. In fact, Kai Xiao is the one who fears the most. He has the most experience of the strength of the two. I thought that everyone was on the 9th level of Golden Core. Even if there was a gap, it would not be too big, but just now, in the Sword Sea of Jian Shu, he realized the aura of Tao. I realized that this is the ticket to the God of Transformation. I am afraid that as long as the cultivation base is enough, Zhangju can enter the God of Transformation. It is no wonder that Jian Shu is facing the marrow of the earth, not caring at all. However, the biggest gain from this battle is Lin Haoyang. From the Sword Sea displayed by Jian Shu, his understanding of Kendo has reached a new level. The third form of the 9 reactive forms has already taken shape, but he wants to perfect it. Still have to comprehend this trick of Jian Hai. Just as at the beginning, just watching Sun Yi cast the human sword once, it was not enough to make him realize Tianfang. He needed Jian Shu to use more powerful and deeper Kendo than Janai to realize the third formula. Kendo than Janai to realize the third formula. Kendo than Janai to